4, 3, 2, 1.
With just one day until we get ready for the biggest night of this season in Madison Square Garden, we welcome you right here tonight to the All Star Grand Slam pre-show. Welcome to 0 Hour. I'm Bradley James at your service for this evening, but we are not in Madison Square Garden tonight because tonight we are here in the War Room. And I'm not alone tonight because I am joined right here tonight by the men who will be joining me possibly tomorrow night for the biggest night of the year. I'm joined here tonight by Hit Kid Worldwide.
Great to be here.
Gnarly Charlie Anderson.
Oh, it's good to be here, man.
And the voice of RCCW, give it up for Big Rick.
Hello!
Pleasure to be here, ladies and gentlemen. Pleasure to be here with all three of you in the building. We will be joined by Downtown Jason Brown later on tonight. But let's get started right here, ladies and gentlemen, because right here, right now, here in the War Room, we're going to be discussing all the matches for tonight. But not only that, we will have two big matches for this pre-show night right here in Madison Square Garden. Because first off for the night, we are going to be seeing the Triple Threat Tornado Tag Elimination match, where the winner of that match will meet the current Millennium Tag Team Champions, the Azure Knights, tomorrow night at the Grand Slam for those titles. And in your pre-show main event, it's an ACL versus SRW Heroes Paradise preview match as Yang Xiaolong meets Satellizer. And that's all coming up tonight on the first edition of 0 Hour. But ladies and gentlemen, let's get down to brass tacks. Let's get to why we're here in the War Room. Let's get to running down the card for tomorrow night's show. And boy howdy, this is quite possibly the biggest event that the All Star CAW League has possibly ever brought to the table, because right here tonight we've got 14 matches to run down. So let's not waste any time, let's not bullshit around, let's get right to it. Of course, starting it off, ladies and gentlemen, it is the Solar Star Gauntlet match for the ACL Lioness Solar Star Championship. Current champion Misaka Mikoto defends against Pidge of the Legendary Defenders, Yuto Gasai of Yandere, Patty Fleur of Brave Vesperia, and Blake Belladonna of Team Ruby. These four women have basically come out of their shells in their sense from the Lioness division this year, some of which have basically just become brand new stars of the Lioness division in a sense. Like Yuto Gasai, she came in earlier on this season and made an impact when she dethroned inaugural champion Max Caulfield at Danger Zone earlier this year. But even then, we have seen breakout years on the likes of Pidge, who basically went solo away from Keith as a part of the Legendary Defenders, and was forcibly brought into the Lioness division after it was revealed she was actually slated as a member of the division when they moved to Millennium. And Patty, well, on her first night, even though she did have a little bit of help from Misaka Mikoto, against Misaka Mikoto, with help from then opponent Yukiko Amagi, she basically pinned the current champion on her first night. So basically everyone in this match sort of has a stake to the title in a sense, and sort of has a stake to their number one contendership. So, in a sense, there's going to be two predictions, ladies and gentlemen. Who do you think is going to be meeting Misaka Mikoto at the end of this match? And who do you think is going to be walking out champion? I'm going to start it off with you, Gnarly. Who do you think?
I think it's gonna be, it's gonna be triple. Because that it could be dangerous going in that, right? Like that was the year she had. And honestly, that's a bit scary.
I mean, that is definite. I'm sorry.
Oh no, you continue.
Oh, I was basically just going to say regarding that, it is definitely true in what Yuto has done this season, but do you believe that Yuto is going to be walking out as a two-time Solar Star champion by the end of this, Gnarly?
Yeah. I really think so.
Alright. So, that's definitely 1 point for Yuto at this, so, let's take it to you here, kid. Who do you think's going to be going to meet Misaka, and who do you think's going to be walking out between your prediction and Misaka?
I'm going to say one then.
Plain and simple, I'm taking Blake Belladonna.
Okay.
I'm taking Blake, and I'm taking her to win the belt as well.
Oh, interesting.
And I'll give reasoning why I'm taking this pick. Team Ruby have been, one of the most, how do you put it, recognizable names of the Lioness divisions for the seasons. We've seen Yang have her breakout. We've seen Ruby have her breakout. We've even seen, Weiss break on the scene, this year. The only one who has yet to do it on a solo standpoint, in a sense, is Blake Belladonna. I think this is her night.
Alright, so based off of that, we have 1 point for Yuno, we have 1 point for Blake. I definitely can't see where you're coming from with that here, kid, and I'll be honest, definitely putting the cards in, definitely, a lot of people do want to count out Blake in that regard, but I definitely would agree in saying that Blake could definitely walk out with her first taste of, well, solo gold right here tonight. So, I definitely would agree with you on that regard here tonight, hit kid.
I just think it's her time.
Alright, so, that's good. That's 1 point for Yuno, that's 1 point for Blake. Going to you, Rick, who do you think's gonna be beating Misaka, and who do you think is gonna be walking out with the belt out of those two?
Oh my god. There's a lot of talent in this match, but I think I gotta go with Hit Kid on. I think it's Blake's time. I think Blake Belladonna is the one who's gonna meet the champion at the end of the gauntlet.
I honestly basically would have to say the same thing, for both of you, based off of that, but, I definitely do agree that both you and Hit Kid do make a lot of good points for Blake, but I'm gonna throw a curveball here. I think I'm gonna say Pidge is gonna be walking into the match against Misaka, but I'm gonna take Misaka to actually walk out retaining the belt here tonight.
The first prediction for a retain.
If I could just note, that's a fair pick because of, what they're going to be going through, in a sense.
Oh, yeah.
Everyone trying to get to Misaka.
Oh, yeah.
Champions outlast.
Yeah, and this is why I feel like this is going to basically happen that way, because Misaka's going to be walking into the match fresh, whereas we don't know who's going to be going into there. But if I've seen one thing over the past 2 years, well, going on 2 years from Pidge now, it's definitely knowing that she has a lot of heart. And she has a lot of in-ring talent, and we saw a lot of that both last year as a member of the Legendary Defenders. Like, she was putting up herself up against the likes of the Mishimas and a lot of other great talent in the tag team division over on Prime last season, and she's been holding her own on the Lioness front as well. So if there is anyone that I personally feel like could outlast all three women, even if she entered first, it would definitely be Pidge. But I definitely feel like Misaka has the champion's advantage in this regard, and she'll be walking away with the Lioness title, with the Lioness Solo Star title at the end of the night. But it definitely does seem like with this that Blake definitely does have the advantage in terms of the popular vote here tonight. So based on all of that, it definitely does seem like, even though like we do have split across the board, I'm definitely surprised, not even really surprised that Patty doesn't have anybody going for her, but she could definitely pull out, who knows, she could be the dark horse of the night.
She may have the people's support.
Yeah,
we're just speaking for ourselves.
Definitely.
We're not speaking for everyone. Everyone's going to have different opinions going on to all these matches.
I'm not trying to change anyone's opinion.
Oh, definitely. And speaking of pretty split, in terms of split decisions on this, we're about to get to one that I feel like a lot of people may have a few split opinions on, and that's the Fatal 4-Way ladder match for the ACL Tag Team titles. This is going to be between four of Prime's most talented teams. It's between Lucky and Stinger, the Q Rangers, taking on Juvenile Delinquencies, Jotaro Kujo and Kaji Tatsumi, taking on the Phantom Thieves, Joker and Skull, and the defending champions, Davis Motomiya and Sherman Abimoto, the Prodigies of Spiral. Ladies and gentlemen, this has basically been the year wherein the Prodigies have basically run roughshod over the tag team title scene on Prime. Because from the word that they basically united at the beginning of the season, they have been almost unstoppable. Whether it be through nefarious means or otherwise, they have defended their belts against every single opponent that has come their way. Even when the odds were severely stacked against them, they always managed to find a way in order to weasel their way out of it or manage to defend their belts. But tomorrow night, they could realistically not have that advantage, because not only will they have to basically grab the tiles from that ladder, they will have 3 of the teams that they have basically faced off against over the past year gunning for them all on the same night. And I get the feeling that with all 3 teams basically just having been scored by these 2, well, as Hitkid would put it, stooges, basically.
Yes.
Yeah, I get the feeling that,
Not wrong.
given the circumstances, it's definitely going to be a numbers game against the Prodigies here tonight. But once again, I open the floor to all 3 to the 3 of you. Let's once again start with you, Nolly. Who do you think is going to be winning the tag team titles at the end of the night?
Yeah, those teams. But the one thing you said, Prodigies and Spiral. We all know they probably have something up their sleeve. We all know it. Which is why I'm going with the champs to retain. You know, they're gonna have something. We all know it.
I mean, they definitely have managed to pull out something throughout every encounter they've been in, so I definitely would agree on that here tonight, Nolly. So, as much as I hate to, have to say it, I definitely do see your point to this, but at the same time, I kinda hope your prediction's wrong on that front for obvious reasons. But of course, going off to, Hitkid once again, Hitkid?
I'm going to make this clear.
Yep.
I hate that I'm having to agree with Nally.
Really? You're picking the champs as well?
Yes, and I hate myself for picking these 2.
Okay,
These
considering the fact considering the fact that yes.
You know I despise Spiral.
I feel like that's the general consensus of everyone at this point, but yeah.
They're a virus in ACL.
Don't worry, we're gonna get to
They
that
really
part. Don't worry, we're gonna get to that part of it at the end of the night, gentlemen.
I know, but the thing about Shaw and Davis, truthfully, look at the year they've had. Every team that's come against them, and by hook or by crook, let me make this clear, they've managed to beat, and they've had a breakout year as a tag team.
Yeah. I mean, I hate to once again have to agree with all with that, but as I said, it has definitely been their year.
And they've had a breakout year as a tag team, and here's the thing. This is a ladder match. This is no DQ. There's anything goes. Am I allowed to make that clear?
Yes.
And Nally's point of them having a plan is totally understandable. They are as sneaky as it gets, if you know what I mean. And whether it be through trickery or just toughness, because that's how tough they are. I hate to say it, I've got Spiral. I've got the Prodigies retaining.
Okay.
And I hate saying that.
I feel like that's gonna be the general feel if we continue on with that, but I honestly understand both of you going with that, but let's take it to Rick. Rick, out of all 4 of the men in this match between Lucky and Stinger, the Q Rangers, Juvenile Delinquency, Jotaro and Kanji, and the Phantom Thieves, Joker and Skull, and of course the current champions, Sho and Davis, who do you think is going to be walking out with the belts?
Well, considering this is a ladder match, correct?
Yes.
It's a 4-way ladder match. It's not really a matter of skill or luck. It's a matter of up that ladder and unhook the belts first. It's a matter of the opportunity presenting itself to the right team. But if we're going by who's been on a roll, who's been consistent this year, I don't think my answer is any different than Hitkid and Gnarly. I have to go with the champions. They've been consistent. They've been, like Hitkid said, by hook or by crook, they have consistently defended and retained those championships in their breakout year, and I feel like they are the big favorites to win them, whether you like them or not.
Yeah, I can definitely understand that, and I can definitely,
Sorry for the interruption. You see who's just walked in with us?
Oh yes, I got.
Getting mic'd up, but downtown Jason Brown has arrived.
Yep, I was just about to make the announcement that I did get the buzz just as we started doing the predictions for this match, but I kind of got the feeling that when we were gonna get to this match that you would have something to say. So ladies and gentlemen, joining us here in the War Room, it is downtown Jason Brown of the United Wrestling League. Good to have you here tonight, Jason.
Thank you for having me here, Brad. Sorry for being late, traffic and everything like that.
Don't worry. New York is terrible. It is understandable. So,
yeah.
You missed the first prediction, but we were just about to talk about the we were just talking about the fatal 4-way ladder match for the ACL Tag Team Championships.
Can you write down the teams?
It is Lucky and Stinger, the Q Rangers, the Phantom Thieves, Joker and Skull, the team of Juvenile Delinquency, Kaji Tatsumi and Jotaro Kujo, and the current champions, Davis Motomiya and Shogun Abimoto. Quickly, who have you got to pick?
Oh, it's easy. The team that has Jotaro in there.
Oh, of course. So, obviously, you've got Juvenile Delinquency for this match, haven't you?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people don't realize this. Jotaro Kujo actually also competes in my league. He hasn't for like a year right now. But let me tell you something. That man was my top guy for about a year. Actually, not even a year. Nearly 2 years. That guy went to war with Tiger's Den. So, I know the champs. They're underhanded. They will do anything. They will do anything to try to retain. It seems like how can you beat a team that always seems like they're 5 steps ahead of everyone else? Well, here's the thing. I've known Jotaro for a long time. Him and I'm sorry, who's his partner again?
Kanji Tatsumi.
They're walking out the champs.
Interesting. I'll be completely honest. My pick might be the same as you, Jason, because while you definitely are going to be backing Jotaro because of the fact that you have a history with him, I've actually called some of Jotaro's matches since he joined ACL back in our second season back in 2017, and I also called a lot of the matches that Jotaro and Kanji did together when they first formed Juvenile Delinquency early last year. So they're not just some makeshift. At first, a lot of people were just gonna basically label them as just a makeshift tag team for no reason. But the two have gelled well more than you would think. Like Jotaro and Kanji, they're basically like kindred spirits in a sense. They're basically like brothers in arms in a sense, because they're As you're saying, the brothers in arms, they're so similar and everything like that, and which is why I'm going with them, because a man just who is very similar to Jotaro teaming up with Jotaro, how can you go wrong? I mean, they walked into the They basically walked into Grand Slam season last year with those belts, and I personally do feel like we may be seeing the reverse happen like this year. They may have walked into Grand Slam season without the belts this year, but I get the feeling, but in my personal pick, Juvenile Delinquency may be walking out with those belts and being the third team in ACL's history to walk out with a reign as Millennium Tag Team Champions and ACL Tag Team Champions.
Yeah, I completely agree with you.
So based off that, even though the majority is picking towards Spiral's Prodigies to win, but I am definitely agreeing with the idea to go for Jotaro and Kanji in this match. But of course, going from one very split opinion of a match to quite possibly a possible another contender for a divisive match here. It's a Sky High Championship match. Reigning champion Lucio defends against Noctis Lucis Kylum. For those who are unaware, Lucio recently dethroned Blackstar, the Judas of the Sky High division, who basically walked out of last year's Grand Slam with the belt, and then basically turncoated on the entire division by joining Spiral back at Full Metal Panic earlier this year. Then, following on from that, he defended the belt against nearly everyone in the division, including former champion Chris, who lost the belt last year. We're gonna get to Chris later on tonight because of another match that he's gonna be a part in. But going on for this one, Noctis debuted last year's Grand Slam for the Sky High title, and while he was unfortunately unlucky in that encounter, he has another chance right here tonight to walk out of Madison Square Garden and his second Grand Slam with the Sky High Division Gold. Now, he has had a few chances at the gold earlier this year. He was actually a part of the match wherein Blackstar turncoated and basically cheated to win against Noctis. But now that's just a straight-up one-on-one match between Lucio and Noctis with nobody in between. Who do you think is going to be walking out tonight with the Sky High title? Gnarly, I'm going to start with you.
Going with Noctis.
Okay.
Seems like he's probably not going to have any help whatsoever.
Okay.
So Noctis is a good walking champion.
Alright, so you think third time might finally be the charm for the heir to Lucis?
Yeah.
Okay, that's pretty interesting. Going to you, Hit Kid, who do you think is going to be walking out with the belt, Lucio or Noctis?
I like both of these guys, let me make it clear.
Yeah.
I'm going to be picking Lucio though.
Okay.
Correct me if I'm wrong. Is this Lucio's first title defense?
He actually defended it against Black Star in his return match, and then he also defended it against Neji Springfield at Final Hour last month.
It's just like...
So this will be his third defense of the belt.
Yeah, Lucio though has been on a bit of a roll. And like, the thing about Lucio is, when I watched it, because I've called Lucio matches before.
Yeah.
We've called one back at the Prestige Fest.
Yeah, you were part of that triple threat match between Lucio, Neji, and Dave Strider.
Yeah, and the thing about Lucio is I've been saying that he is a guy who I think can be representing the right representation, for the Sky High division. This could be your match of the night, by the way, just to let everyone know.
Absolutely.
This is a sleeper for the match of the show, if I'm allowed to say it.
I would definitely heavily agree with you here today.
And I'm going to take Lucio to retain.
Alright, so based off that, we have one across the board for both Lucio and Noctis. I'm going to take it to you, Rick. Who do you think's going to be walking out with the Sky High belt?
It could be any one of these, honestly. But if I had to pick one of them, I have to go with this, because he's failed once. He's failed twice. He's learned from he has to have from his mistakes, and he has to be at his most prepared for this championship. I think tonight is going to be the night where Noctis wins the Sky High Championship.
Technically, it's going to be tomorrow night, but okay, so we have two for Noctis, one
You
for
know
Lucio.
what I mean.
Yeah, I definitely know what you mean, Rick, don't worry. Just wanted to correct you there for 1 second, but it's all good. But two for Noctis, one for Lucio. Going to you, Jason. Who do you think's going to be walking out with the Sky High belt?
I think the champ retains. Lucio retains. The very first time I truly saw what this kid was made of was back during that New Dawn show we all did together, and he took on Tiger Mask. That was the very first time I ever saw him. Really, in the ring and everything. And I was really, really impressed. And I've gone back and I've watched a lot of his matches in ACL and everything, and I think that kid has it. And I think not only do I think he's going to retain, I think next season there's going to be bigger things for him.
Oh boy, so basically it's down to me for the tiebreaker on this one for who we think is going to be on walking out with the belt. I mean, I agree with everyone's points on this. I definitely do agree that this year has definitely been Lucio's year at the top of the Sky High division, because like everyone has said, Lucio has definitely had a breakout year, and I would definitely agree with both Hit Kid and Jason's points on this for Lucio, saying that basically Lucio has more or less become the real face of the Sky High division. And in a sense, he's basically come into his own. Like, both at the Prestige Fest, he had big wins for the Sky High division, as well as having a huge win over Tiger Mask in the ACL versus UWL match. On top of all of that as well, I do have to agree with points for Noctis as well. This will be his third chance at getting a shot. This will be his third chance at the belt. Last year was his first match. His debut match in ACL. Obviously, he had to have learned a fair bit from that match. Obviously, from his second encounter, he got a bit screwed out of that. Not only that, he basically did have the best of encounters because of what happened during the match. But at this point, I definitely have to agree with Hit Kid and Jason's points on this. I feel like Lucio's going to be walking out with the belt retaining right here tonight. And I do definitely agree that there is a lot going into next season for Lucio, wherein I definitely do feel as though he could definitely pull out a big year for himself.
Well, here's a question though. I think that needs to be asked: if Lucio does retain, and this is a third attempt, failed by Noctis, where does he go from here?
Only time will tell, Jason. Only time will tell.
Mm-hmm.
But going on from that, we next move on to a very sort of personal encounter between two men. It's Nekomaru Nidai versus Fuyuhiko Kuzuryu. Now, for those of you who don't remember this, for those of you who need a little bit of a pick up to speed, both of these men were initially members of the unit known as Ultimate Despair 2 years ago. Now, in terms of where they are now, after the Grand Slam 2 years ago, Fuyuhiko Kuzuryu was gone. He basically disappeared. We basically found him backstage and he looked almost near death. And he disappeared for close to a year and a half. And then he resurfaced at Maximum Impact early a few months ago, wherein he basically suddenly appeared again, and he was leading the charge, and he was basically just leading orders to both the Mad Dragons, Kiryu Kazuma and Goro Majima, and basically laying out Nekomura Nidai. And as we've come to find out, he's been planning this for quite some time. Like, he's been planning this ever since the Mad Dragons made their debut last year at the Grand Slam. And he's just been waiting for Nidai to come back. He's just been waiting for Nidai to return after what he went through last year. For those who don't remember, he nearly died at the hands of Gundam Tanaka a year ago. And based on all of that, after finally coming back, and after finally... both men have now finally come back into the fold, it's basically been a situation wherein at the end of the night, who do you feel like is going to survive this very personal encounter? I mean, Nidai basically had to go through both of the Mad Dragons in a handicap match last month in order to get this match, but at the end of the night, will Nidai actually be able to get his having finally been able to get his hands on Kuzuryu tomorrow night, is Nidai basically gonna murder Kuzuryu? Or is Kuzuryu gonna get revenge for what happened 2 years ago? I take it to you, Dolly, to start it off.
Well, go with Nidai. Gonna get revenge on him. No way to put it.
Alright, short and
He's
sweet.
gonna make sure he doesn't come back.
Alright, short, sweet, very to the point, I kinda like that. Take it to you, Hickett.
Nidai's gonna murder a man. You do not hold a vendetta against Nekomura Nidai and expect to get away with it. I'm sorry. Kuzuru has done everything since Nidai has been back to try to end this man's career. He's tried everything. No, in a sense, you've got to pay the piper in a sense.
I mean,
it's time, to pay the devil himself.
I mean, I definitely do have to agree with that, Hickett.
Nidai's coming to collect his soul.
I mean,
It's going to be a bloodbath.
Yep. That sort of leads into what I'm gonna say, but I'm gonna save that for when we get to myself. Going over to you, Rick, again, who do you think's coming out of this match?
Nidai. He's had to go through everything that's been thrown his way. And just like Hit Kid said, it's finally time to pay the piper.
Jason, do you think the same way, I'm assuming?
Well, actually, I have a little counterpoint to all of this. I'm sorry, I don't want to butcher his name. Who's Nidai facing? I just want to make sure I get his name right.
It's okay, his name is Fuyuhiko Kuzuryu.
Okay, Kuzio?
Kuzuru.
Kuzuru. Okay, Kuzuru.
Got it.
I am going with him for one reason only. Nidai is going to go into this with a blind rage. He's going to go in this with a blind rage, and that's exactly what his opponent wants. It's going to be a bloodbath, but Nidai's going to make that one mistake, and it's over.
I mean, I can definitely see where you're coming from with that here, Jason, but, kind of have to agree with everyone else on this, to be honest, because,
I want Nidai to kick his ass. It's just, will Nidai go in there with the right state of mind, or will it be blind rage?
That is definitely a very... Once again, that is definitely something that you would have to take into consideration for a match like this, because Nidai is basically going to be coming in with absolute blind rage, because once again, this is the first time he's going to actually properly get his hands on Kuzuru, because ever since Maximum Impact, whether it be Fuyuhiko getting involved in matches, sending the Mad Dragons after him, hell, he screwed, basically, the entirety of Ultimate Yakuza screwed him over on Path to Victory, because he had to, he basically got screwed over against Rino Kimura, and he basically had to enter number 1. And even with entering at number 1, he managed to decimate the entire first 10 men in the match, and it took Kuzuryu going in and beating the shit out of him to the point where Phantom R was able to eliminate him that night in order to basically just get him even more pissed off. So, as much as I do want to more or less say that Kuzuru may walk out of it tonight because he might finally have his number in a sense and might have finally gotten him so pissed off he won't be able to focus on it. I honestly feel like Nidai, with what we have seen from Nidai in the past, will absolutely destroy Kuzuru in this match if Kuzuru doesn't fucking run away in the middle of it. But of course, with a majority of people going after Nidai in this match, speaking of the Mad Dragons, we're gonna get to one match, going into a match involving one of them. So it's a yearly tradition for the Grand Slam. It's the Fight for the Right match. Remember, winner of this match gets your standard Money in the Bank but your standard Money in the Bank rules. You basically have a world title match of your choosing, whether it be on Millennium or Prime, to use within the next year or until the next Grand Slam. So this year, it's down to 4 men. 2 from Prime, 2 from Millennium. We currently have Tai Kamiya of Millennium, Kiryu Kazuma of Millennium, Neji Springfield of Prime, and Sands of Prime as well. All 4 of these men have basically had big years over the course of the last 2 years, some of them even more than that. But over the course of the last year, you could definitely see that all 4 of the men in this match could walk out with something big. And considering the huge stakes in this match, who do you think is going to be walking away with this world title opportunity? Gnarly, let's take it to you first.
Write down the names again.
It's Tai Kamiya of the Digidestined, Neji Springfield, Sands of the Bone Bros, and Kiryu Kazuma of the Mad Dragons.
I'll go with Kiryu Kazuma.
I get the feeling that's going to be a pretty popular pick, but I kind of want to hear your reasoning for that.
Well, really? Go in there. We probably knew we was going to do a ladder. Well, can agree on that. Just imagine you having a ladder and considering...
It's actually not a ladder match. It's not a ladder match. It's just a standard elimination fatal 4-way.
Okay. So I was going to say that. Probably got... Besides... Look who's been hanging out with anyway. Who's been with. So it wouldn't surprise me if one of them decides to get involved.
So you're on about possible Majima.
Yeah.
I mean, Majima everywhere could definitely be a thing, so you can't necessarily count that out. But, I get the feeling I know immediately who you're gonna pick in this hit, kid, but, let's...
Yeah! Should I just go?
Just drop the hammer, buddy.
Yeah, I'm taking Kiru.
Why am I not surprised?
Well, you shouldn't be for a number of reasons, which I guess I should go into right now.
Yep.
No, you all know during the turn of this new year, I'm starting a project of my own.
Of course, of course.
So I guess I could officially admit, I think this is a better stage than any.
Go right ahead.
Yeah, Kazuma Kiru, new signing for the Worldwide Wrestling Alliance.
Congratulations. We did actually help make the terms for that. Even though he's going to be working with WWA, we are definitely more than
he's going to be working with ACL.
Yep, he's definitely still going to be working with ACL, and who knows? If he does in fact walk out with that Fight for the Right opportunity, if he does end up becoming a world champion, who's to say he might walk into one of your shows with one of those belts?
I know, but it's not only that why I'm picking Kiru. I look at the other three. Tai, Neji, and Sans.
Yeah.
And then I look at them against Kiru.
Yeah.
Kiru, much more experienced fighter than all 3 men. And this ain't just in the ring perspective, this is a life perspective.
Yep.
Kiru's a lot more tougher fighter, has been known in life to deal with multiple opponents. And never usually gets flustered. That's the one thing about Kiru. He can fight emotionally, but when he has a job to do, he will usually complete it. And for that reason, I'm taking Kazuma Kiru to win the Fight for the Right.
Alright, so that's 2 for Kiru. And then after that, let's take it to you, Brick. Who do you feel like is going to be walking out with this?
I have the most oddball pick out of the entire If we're talking about Sans, are we talking about spooky, scary skeleton who tells puns? That's the Sans.
Yes, that is Sans we are talking about. That Sans.
Alright. That Sans. Well, he's my pick because nobody's going to see him coming. Nobody would see him coming.
I mean, I would definitely have to agree with you on that, Rick. I mean, look at the history of Sans, both outside of the ring as well as inside. We all know what he looks like when he gets severely pissed. We all know what he is capable of. For those of you who know what I am talking about, you know what I am talking about. And who's to say we might not? Who's to say? Like, we saw that last year when he basically completely strung out the entirety of Tiger and Don in a handicap match, even when the odds were stacked up against him. So we might see a repeat of that right here tomorrow night.
See, everyone thinks it's all puns with Sans, but Sans could actually pull it out of his hat, or his metaphorical hat.
I mean, everyone in this match could basically be in for a bad time tomorrow night. But, going to you, Jason, who do you think's going to be walking out with this?
See, this is a reason why I probably should consider Rick my long-lost brother, because I actually agree with you.
Yes!
So we got a split table.
Here's the thing. Like he said, no one's going to expect him. No one's going to expect Sans to do this, and here's the thing. It's like, why, you know, the pudgy little skeleton what's he gonna do and everything like that. Like you said, Brad, do not underestimate Sans. He can, and he probably will whip a lot of ass come this match, and I'm going with Sans. Rick, I love you, man.
I love you too, Jason. COG drums for life. The dream team lives.
The dream team.
Alright,
The dream team.
Alright, gentlemen. So basically we have 2 for Kiryu and 2 for Sans. So I once again have to throw a curveball out of here, but it might not be as much of a curveball as you may think, because I'm picking Tai in this match. And I'll explain the reasoning as for why. Because Tai Kamiya has been an ACL day 1. He was one of the first men to ever step foot on ACL in our first event in 2015. And ever since that night, him alongside Matt Ishida have basically carved themselves out as 2 of the biggest breakthrough tag teams in this division. And over the past few years, we have definitely seen him strive in terms of tag team action, but over the past year or so, we have definitely seen his skills in terms of singles action. Because remember, when he returned from his injury last year, we all thought that he was never going to be able to wrestle again after what he went through, after basically being put on the shelf by Nekomaru Nidai. He was out of action for over a year. So part of me is thinking that Tai Kamiya basically saw himself on the shelf, and he realized that he may have borrowed time if he doesn't, like, man up and manage to be able to break out on his own, as well as continue to basically have that sort of edge to himself as a tag team specialist as well. So, I feel like, even though it might be a complete dark horse in this match, considering who's going into here, I realize that Sans and Kiryu may be 2 big people to look out for, but I feel like Tai could seriously pull out the big one finally. Considering that and the history for Tai, I definitely do feel as though he could walk out of it. But, you know, but moving on from one of those matches to another, let's get to one of the more murderous matches of the night. So, let's get to it. It's No Holds Barred for the Crossover Championship. Defending champion, Ultimate Sadist Gundam Tanaka, defends against Chris. Now, a little bit of a backstory behind this. Gundam Tanaka returned a year ago and basically put Nekomaru Nidai through 40 minutes of hell in the first and, to this point, only Final Despair deathmatch in ACL history. Gundam has basically turned from the ultimate breeder into the ultimate sadist. And he's basically, ever since putting Nekomaru Nidai through 40 minutes of hell last year, he's basically done a complete 180 on his attitude, and he's basically taken carnal pleasure in mapping himself out against, like, the toughest of opponents, whether it be in ACL or outside ACL. Jason, you obviously know about that. He went through one hell of a death match against Vegeta at UWO versus the World.
Yeah. When we get to that, when you get to me, I'll talk about a little bit about that.
Oh yeah, definitely. But for Chris as well, last year he walked into last year's Grand Slam as Sky High champion, but he was a member of the Orochi clan then. Now that the Orochi clan is over on Millennium, their influence has no longer been affecting him. And as a result of that, he has basically just been trying to redeem himself in the eyes of the fans in the division and on Prime in general. But there have been some people that have been trying to bring out that inner darkness again. The first one to bring it out of him was Blackstar earlier this year when he attempted to get the Sky High title back. And now, as of recently, Gundam Tanaka has basically been trying to bring out that inner darkness again. And if the last words that we saw from Chris on Last Prime were any idea about what we're going to be expecting tomorrow night, I don't know what version of Chris we're going to get tomorrow night, whether it be the Seared Flame God, or if we're going to be getting this kid who's basically been trying to redeem himself. All I'm going to say is this: Gundam Tanaka has been trying to pull out whatever inner demons that Chris has had over the past year, and he's been basically trying to pry them out for this match. And I feel like he may have gotten it, in my opinion. But of course, with no holds barred and with two unhinged men in this match, Gnarly, who do you think's gonna be walking out with the crossover title?
Well, I'm going with Gundam. No talking. Because of one thing. What you brought up last, our Grand Slam. We saw the lengths with Gundam Tanaka is capable of. We all know it.
Yep.
I must say this. I'm going with him to win, but he's probably going to bring 10 times worse there before.
Win in not so much of a surprising prediction in that front, but I definitely do understand that. But given everything, hey kid, what's your thoughts on this?
There's a saying, never try to bring out someone's true darkness, as sometimes the darkness can engulf you. It's a saying I've stayed to, in a sense. Same which runs in my family. Never try to bring out darkness, otherwise it may engulf you. And when that happens to a person, you don't know what kind of person you're going to get. The thing is, Gundam has been pressing and trying, to bring out Chris's darkness. Over and over and over again. This could work. This is a very interesting match, because this could work in one of two ways. It could either backfire on Gundam Tanaka, or it could set Gundam Tanaka up for a win. Usually when someone's bringing out someone's, like Darkseid, which I think Gundam has done, I will back the guy who's bringing out the Darkseid. I will back, Chris.
Yeah.
However, if there's one guy who I know would love to see someone's Darkseid, and with a violent, bloody brawl, especially from last year's experience, it is Gundam Tanaka. And for that reason, I've got Gundam Tanaka retaining the crossover championship.
Alright. So, that's 2 for Gundam. Taking it to you, Rick. Who do you think's gonna be walking out with the crossover title?
Well, like you said, Gundam put a man through 40 minutes of to win that championship. And it's... If Chris wants that title, he's gonna have to really dig deep. But with the role he's been on, I gotta go with Gundam. Not to discredit Chris or anything, but good lord, there's just no other way around it.
I mean, I do completely understand where it's coming from at this point, and it definitely does seem as though Gundam could easily once again pull out one big win, considering what we've been seeing from him both last year and over the past few months. But for the sake of consistency, Jason, your pick?
Alright. With all due respect to Chris and everything, I'm just going to make it perfectly clear. I'm going with Gundam on this. And now, as you were talking about, Brad, earlier, that death match that he had with Vegeta.
Yeah.
Now, I'm going to go a little deep into that right there. That match right there, even though Vegeta won, and even though he walked out with that sadistic smile on his face, so did Gundam. And here's the thing. Even though he lost that match, who was back to work sooner rather than later. Gundam.
Yeah.
Gundam was right back. Vegeta he had to take a leave of absence for a while to heal up from injuries during that match. He might have won, but Gundam was the man who he might have lost the battle, but in that night, I wouldn't say he won the war because he was able to walk out on his 2 feet. What a lot of people don't know, as soon as Vegeta got to the backstage, he collapsed because of all that blood loss. I mean, both men covered in barbed wire scratches, glass in their skin. Gundam, I think he actually had glass underneath his fingernail.
Oh!
He
Ew!
did. He had, and he didn't even care. He didn't care about any treatment or anything. He actually literally took the glass out himself, and he didn't even fucking flinch.
Yep, that definitely sounds like Gundam, all right. But
Vegeta had to go to the hospital. He had to go to the hospital. Gundam, he was on the plane and he went to his next event.
Yeah.
That is what Chris is facing. A man who seems like he cannot feel pain. A man who knows no mercy, and he will show no mercy. Chris, he's going to have to bring everything to try to beat Gundam. But honestly, can he?
I mean, all 4 of you have basically said what has needed to be said at this point, so I'm not going to mince words about it. I feel like Gundam is going to be walking out, retaining the crossover championship. Chris could definitely pull out something. He may definitely pull out something, like, big in that match tomorrow night. But considering what Gundam did last year, and considering what Gundam has done the past year alone, I definitely do feel like Chris is definitely going in for the fight of his life. And I feel like we won't know truly what we're going to be getting from Chris until we see it tomorrow night, but if we're just calling it right now, without any expectations with what we're going to be seeing, if we're going to be seeing the Chris that we've been seeing the past year, I feel like Gundam may be walking out with the crossover title, plain and simple.
And that's our first clean sweep of the night.
Yeah,
And it is.
yeah,
That
and
would last.
yeah, definitely. This has been the first one we have basically unanimously agreed on, but, here comes one that I feel like we may also have a clean sweep agree on. Chie Satonaka in her return match, facing off against the woman who put her on the shelf in and I'm using quotation marks when I say this, Yukiko. Because, well, I'm just gonna put this bluntly, this is a battle between 2 former best friends in a sense, because 1 year ago, these 2 girls were basically on top of the world in a sense. Chie Satonaka walked into her second Grand Slam as Lioness Champion. And unfortunately for her, she did not walk out as Lioness Champion. As a matter of fact, she basically had the shortest match in Grand Slam history at 5 minutes when she got her head completely knocked off by Yang Xiaolong. And, well, from there, she didn't really have a good 2019 after that. She did have a huge barn burner at Rebound for a rematch against Yang for the Lioness title. But after that, a few millenniums later, she was put on the shelf by her now former best friend in the returning Yukiko. But she was completely different. She was not the same Yukiko Amagi that won the Lioness tag team titles with her. This was, as she puts it, her true self. Her shadow, in a sense. And with that in mind, Yukiko basically has been running has basically been gaining momentum over the past year, and none more so than nearly winning the Solo Star title against Misaka Mikoto. The only reason she's not walking into this year with that belt is because Chie returned and basically gave her 3 consecutive galactic punts to the head in return. After that, they basically came to blows the next millennium, and they basically, this match was made shortly after. So, as a result of that, 2 former best friends. Chie is wanting to try and bring out the real Yukiko back, but Yukiko is just wanting to make Chie suffer, and possibly even put her on the shelf permanently this time around. To put it bluntly, this is two former best friends going to blows against each other, and for all intents and purposes, this could get very personal very quickly. But obviously, who have we got for this, gentlemen? Once again, Gnarly, I'm going to take it to you.
Well, as you just said, this two former best friends. You still probably know each other that well. But, what you said about YouTube? I'm saying that I'm going with YouTube to win.
Alright, interesting. I'm going to you, Hit Kid. Who do you think's going to be walking
That is
out?
the most blasphemous prediction I've heard all night.
Yeah?
Excuse me while I take this, because I'm sorry that I'm just saying that, but that is a blasphemous prediction. Give me Chie here big. And there's an obvious reason why I'm going Chie here. Yeah. Last year's Grand Slam. It is redemption hour for Chie, ladies and gentlemen. It is redemption hour. She got, let's call it straight, last year's Grand Slam, Lioness title match, she came in confident as hell against Yang Xiaolong. By the end of that match, she got knocked the fuck out. Legitimately, she got knocked the fuck out and lost that title. In what you said, Brad, was the shortest match in Grand Slam history, the 5 minutes. It's redemption hour for Chie. Yukiko's been bitter, she's been... Let's be honest, she's backstabbed her close friend, and I get trying to get your friend back and all that, but for Chie, this is about not only trying to get her friend back, this is about proving that I belong on this stage. I've got Chie here big.
Alright, so it's one for Yukiko, one for Chie. Going to you, Rick. Who do you pick for this?
It's a classic story. Two best friends divided by the sport. You see it all the time. It never gets any easier to watch. It never gets any less personal. But if I'm gonna pick somebody, I gotta go like Hit Kid with Chi. Redemption. The same redemption. She was humiliated. And this is her chance to take it all back, to redeem that loss, that humiliation. This is her big moment. It's make or break for either one of them, but I'd say Chi has more on the line.
Alright, two for Chie, one for Yukiko. Taking it to you, Jason. Who are you picking for this?
I'm gonna go with Chie. I mean, like Hit Kid and Rick said, this is all about redemption. But I think what it is she's trying to save her friend from herself, pretty much. And with the determination that she has going into this match, I think she's going to do it.
Okay.
Chie.
Once again, I'm gonna have everyone just remain in their seats for this, because I'm gonna throw yet another curveball for this. But as much as
Yukiko.
yes, but let me explain for this. The story of this match is simple. Chie wants to try and save Yukiko. Yukiko doesn't feel like she has anything left to lose at this point. I mean, she's, in her own words, she broke away from Chie because she personally felt like she was being disrespected, and she was personally feeling like she was being overshadowed when she became Lioness Champion. And the bitterness, the absolute, the bitterness, the darkness overwhelming Yukiko basically tells itself. And at this point, you can go ahead and say whatever you really want to say in this regard for Chie wanting to bring back Yukiko, and you can also double it down for Chie wanting to get redemption for last year's Grand Slam. But all Yukiko is going to be on the mind is just to hurt Chie. She's not going to be worried about redemption. She doesn't want it. She's not going to be worried about saving Chie because she doesn't want to be saved. She is not even going to be worried about basically getting a win, because even if she gets any kind of victory is hurting Chie, whether it be psychologically, emotionally, or physically. At the end of the night, all Yukiko is going to be focused on is proving a point to Chie that she is not her best friend anymore. The Yukiko Amagi that she shared basically a close friendship with is dead in the ground. And she's basically going to be walking into it just to prove that point even further, and just getting the win is just going to be the icing on the cake for her. So as much as I feel like Chie could definitely pull out a big win tomorrow night and save Yukiko at the same time, for all intents and purposes, from a psychological perspective, I feel like Chie has a lot more emotional weight on her mind, and it's gonna do nothing but cloud her judgment in that match. So I'm sorry, but I've got Yukiko in this match. But considering all of that, ladies and gentlemen, we're pretty much split down the middle in a sense in terms of that. But speaking of being split down the middle, that now makes about half of the Grand Slam card called at this point. Based off that, we're going to be taking a bit of a short break here, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to be going to a commercial break, but join us after this break, because immediately following on from that, we are going to be calling the first match of the pre-show in the Triple Threat Tag Team Elimination match for the #1 contendership for the Millennium Tag Team titles tomorrow night. So we'll be right back after this commercial break. Join us back here in the War Room, where we get to call in that match, and we get to call in the second half of the Grand Slam card. We'll be right back, gentlemen.
Select the one to fight with, get it on. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6. Pick and choose the right one, get it on. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Yeah. Select the one to fight with, get it on. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6. Yes, sir. Pick and choose the right one, get it on. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. It's time for you to get into the character. You here to lose or here to win, I'm only asking you. Either you beat him or you beat him like an amateur. Either you drive or you get driven like a passenger. The fight's around the corner, so pick the one you want to. Represent your way, go head to head with your opponent. Feel it in the air, tension is electric. The glory's imminent, this is something epic. It's for one of you, so what you gonna do? When your enemy is standing right in front of you, are you gonna lose, or are you gonna prove to everyone that never thought you win that you can rule? Cause everything is in your hands, you control it. And everything that is the past, it is over. This is now, this is everything that is. So you better make the right pick. Select the one to fight with, get it on. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6. Pick and choose the right one, get it on. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Select the one to fight with, get it on. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6. Pick and choose the right one, get it on. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
And we're back here at New York City, and we're calling it for the War Room, ladies and gentlemen. We're back here at 0 Hour All Star Grand Slam 4, and this is your first pre-show match of the evening. And it's a triple threat elimination tag team match where the winners will face off against the Millennium Tag Team Champions tomorrow night for the belts. So the winners of this match, whoever they may be, will face off against Kite and Orca of the Azure Knights.
So whoever wins this has gotta.
Basically, it's a last chance It's a basically last chance to punch your ticket to getting a tag team title match at the Grand Slam.
On the main show.
Last chance saloon?
Yeah, basically. Last chance saloon for free big tag teams here.
What are the drinks gonna be on tonight?
Of course, keeping Lance already in the ring, the legendary defenders. But these two Brave Asperias, Yuri Lowell and Flynn Schifo, newcomers to the tag team titles, to the tag team scene here on ACL and especially on Millennium, making their debut earlier this year. And they more or less basically have had pretty much a mixed year. But this could essentially be their night to punch that ticket and possibly walk out their first year on Millennium as tag team champions.
That'd be huge for these two.
And that ticket could be a golden ticket.
Basically, yeah. Not only that, but following on from that as well, we of course have the last team here. And of course,
I know I'm about to get a suspicious look for this.
Yeah?
But hell yes!
Honestly, say what you will. Rama Salturbe has basically been one of the biggest people to look out for on the Millennium roster this year.
Can I say it?
Yeah.
I'm gonna say it truthfully. My MVP of the Millennium roster this year.
I honestly wouldn't.
And
I
called this a year ago.
I wouldn't. I'm not gonna fight you on that, honestly, Hit Kid. Not even discounting his discounting everything regarding this. He has basically had one huge year here on Millennium, and not even discounting the fact that Dojo Salturbe basically made their mark. He brought in his former rival Ryoga Hibiki, as well as his wife Akane Tendo to the fold. So, this could basically be a way for Ranma to end off a huge year for himself and the people he's brought to the dance with him, and walk into the Grand Slam and walk out Tag Team Champions.
And here's the thing, I know people are going to be looking like me, like, how the hell can you support Ranma, you know, after everything he's done this year, you know, after every cheap chick and all that. But when Ranma said he was, you know, going to win the Millennium title earlier this year, off Squall Leonhardt, let's remember that, he said he was going to, you know, become Millennium Champion.
Yeah.
People are doubting Ranma, people are like, we're not sure. Ranma went and beat that man. He's a man of his word in a sense.
He is.
Whether people like it or not. I mean, I would definitely have to agree with both of you in this, considering what we're working with right now. But honestly, out of the 3 men in this match, keeping with the tradition of what we've seen thus far, obviously I know that you're taking the pick of Dojo Salturbe for this here, Hit Kid. But Rick, who do you think is going to be walking out of this this triple threat?
It could be any man, but I think I gotta go with Hit Kid on that. I think the Dojo's got this.
Alright, so,
And me,
yeah.
riding a lot behind. But the newcomers could also pull off the upset.
Definitely.
And then,
in a match like this, it is definitely... In a match like this, it is definitely anyone's game. And especially the very different styles between all three teams. The martial arts style of Dojo Salturbe, the more high-flying and technical aspects of the legendary defenders, and the all-technical style of Brave Vesperia. It's basically a huge clash of styles in this match, what we're seeing right now.
This single elimination or double elimination?
It is single elimination. One team, if one team member gets eliminated, the other team member survives, but if both team members get eliminated, then that team is out. So, let's say, for instance, that, Ranma gets eliminated in this match. So long as Ryoga continues to be in this match, Dojo Salturbe still have a chance. And as we're seeing right now, it definitely does not look too good for Brave Vesperia as Flynn Shifo is getting his chest kicked to high holy hell, and getting
and there goes his head.
Getting those roaring kicks right there, and wait a minute, Ranma getting picked up, and we're getting reversing that into a Hurricane Rana, and it seems as though
Hurricane Ranma,
I love that, and wait a minute,
got him!
Salturbe lock! Keith getting put into the Salturbe lock right there.
Immediately!
His partner.
His partner's out on the floor!
Lance is out of it, but Keith reversing out of it as well, getting out of the Salturbe lock. That is that more vicious version of the Salturbe lock even. And as we're seeing right now, wait a minute, double team right there by both Yuri and Ranma.
Can't agree on who wants to pin. That cost him an elimination there, you could say.
Wait a minute, Ryoga going immediately after Yuri in that front, and Yuri kicking out of it. And once again, this is basically just complete insanity what we're seeing here, but wait a minute, Yuri setting Ryoga up! Heavenly Blade Wing right there, Heavenly Blade Wing on to Ryoga, and that might be game, set, match for Ryoga right there.
1, 2, no!
Only a 2 count, Ryoga kicking out. And wait a minute,
Flattens him, but look at that, rolls out of the ring, that's smart.
And a car crash right there from all members in this match. And wait a minute, Keith setting Yuri up, but
Oh, Ranma brought that up, but he just fell.
Ranma
He's like,
completely
hell no.
going completely petty at this point. And now Ryoga, no! Ryoga not getting the...
Wow, that's kind of been Ranma's story this season.
And wait a minute. Oh!
Brainbuster!
Brainbuster right there onto Yuri Low. And now Yuri could be in trouble. No escape for it this time. South Tome locking. Wait a minute. No! Flynn break.
Oh, Yuri was able to
His
straight away
partner-
use his weight.
And had he not been able to, his partner was right there.
Yeah, so
Flynn
basically
was right there for the save.
Flynn right there for the save, but it looks as though Yuri could be going at Ranma from the wood. Right now, it could basically be Ranma who could be in trouble at this point. And I don't know if anyone noticed it, but wave it. No, I see Keith. I thought he was eliminated there for a second. I thought for 1 second Keith had been eliminated, and we didn't realize it. But as we see right here, wait a minute. Lance!
Holy shit! Oh my god, what a deadlift, modified deadlift German from one!
The Aris Slam, as he calls it. Aris Slam onto Yuri Low, and now 1, 2, no! Yuri kicking
No,
out of it.
Ranma's got the rope!
Ranma's got the ropes, and no, Keith kicking out of it!
Using the rope for leverage, but it didn't pay off, and there's a combat neck breaker.
Because in this match, with it being the triple threat tag rules, I'm assuming there's no DQ.
Yeah, I would assume there's no DQ in this match, considering it's triple threat rules right here. But of course, as we are seeing right now, it's going complete pandemonium here. And wait a minute. Oh! Hurricane Rana right there on...
Ooh!
Lance,
Kicked him right in the...
Lance accidentally hitting Keith right there, right from out of nowhere, and Yuri
No
taking...
partner, and he gets dropped.
Yuri taking advantage of that, and now wait a minute, setting up Ryoga into place. Heavenly Blade Ring for the second time onto Ryoga, and now looking to go for
Face first.
1, 2, Ranma barely,
Ranma barely got the...
barely saving Ryoga at that point.
That was too close for comfort.
And now Lance sizing up Ranma now. Wait a minute, and uppercutting the back of his head. The back of his head, and now going for the pin 1.
God!
Only getting a
Michinoku driver!
Michinoku driver right there by Flynn. And now wait a minute, Ryoga reversing out of it. And now wait a minute, Keith. No!
Oh,
Once
let's
again,
go for that.
absolute chaos in this match right there, considering what's at stake here. No eliminations as of yet. But wait a minute, Keith setting up Ranma. Fireman's carry into a roundhouse right there by Lance.
Oh, wait a minute, what is this? Widow's Peak!
Widow's Peak.
Widow's
1,
Peak!
2,
2!
3.
There it is!
The first elimination of the match. Ryoga getting the first elimination of the match, and Yuri basically has to carry Brave Vesperia's chances. 1, 2.
No.
Yuri trying to get revenge onto Ryoga right there, but wait a minute.
Lance again!
Aris Slam once again right there onto Yuri. Ref doesn't know who to go for. 2, 3.
And well, it's not just a simple tag match.
Brave
Back to back.
Vesperia is completely out of it. It's now down to the legendary defenders and Dojo Saotome at this point. And as we're seeing right now, Dojo Saotome may very well have the advantage in place. Ryoga, 1, 2, 3. Hitting the ropes right there, and now Lance in quick succession after that is the only member of the legendary defenders left, and now he has to fend for himself against both.
Yeah, he's in trouble.
He's in a handicap situation.
He's very much in a bad way at this point. And
he's on the wrong side of town.
And he's now got to defend himself against a former Millennium Champion and 2 very dangerous martial artists in their own right. Lance could very well be in for a long rest of this match, and he's safely taken the right road and basically trying to outmaneuver it. And no! Hurricane Rana still managing it just like that right there and getting both men down.
What Lance has got to do is he's got to separate them.
Yes.
Divide and conquer right now.
He cannot.
Exactly.
He cannot. He simply cannot afford to have both men in the same area at the same time. Otherwise, he is screwed. And
Pele!
Pele kick
Beautiful
right there onto
Pele
Ronda.
kick.
I got run around the top of the head.
Right on the top of the head, right there, and Keith's
Downward spiral.
eyeing it down on him, feeling all.
But we got a bleeder.
We got a bleeder, and now wait a minute. Ranma could be set up. Aris slam right there onto Ranma. He already delivered 2 to Ryoga, and he just delivered 1 single right to Ranma. And wait a minute, Ryoga 1.
One, 2.
Oh, barely,
So close. He had him.
barely saving him, and now Ryoga coming to the aid of Ranma, and
The numbers game catching up to him.
the numbers game catching up to Lance right here and now. But as we're seeing right here and now, wait a minute, giving a little bit of ode to his rival in a sense with a out-of lock of his own. But of course, Lance catching the ropes right there, saving himself. But of course, Lance still fighting back after everything, trying to get the numbers game once again down for the count, and well, he already
He's
knows.
hanging in there.
He's hanging in there as much as he can.
Oh!
And Ryoga's out, and Ranma took the time to taunt there for a second, but he might have made the wrong call on that front.
That was a big mistake. It opened him up.
Double spiral again on Ranma.
Downward spiral right there onto Ranma. Now, wait a minute, could be going for it again. Wait a minute, no. Ranma coming out of it again, and wait a minute, looking to set up Lance again. Great Buster! Great Buster again, and now, wait a minute. Going for the South Harvey lock again. This could be it for Lance. This could be it. No!
No, the ropes were just in reach.
Barely had it. Lance just barely had his foot under the rope, and that was all that saved him. Let's be honest. If Lance didn't have his foot under the ropes, that might have been it for him.
That would have been it. That would have been all she wrote.
Wait a minute, Northern Lights. Oh! But Lance, Ranma being petty as ever, breaking up the Northern Lights.
I'm just stomping on Lance right there.
Yeah, this is basically
Stomp in the chest.
stomping the chest down, and Lance going right, trying to go back to the well in a sense, and a backslide backslide driver right there onto Ranma, dragging him away from the ropes as best as he possibly can. One,
2. Got him!
He got it.
It's now
It's
down
all
to
even.
it's now down to Ryoga and Lance. One of these two men is going to secure the victory tomorrow night for their team. The only question is who the heck is it going to
Northern
be?
Lights.
And the Northern Lights, and wait a minute, into a brainbuster.
But the
They took them
both
both out.
Lance has basically been fighting against 2 men so far for the last few minutes, and it's been taking the toll out of him. As you can plainly see, the toll has been made up against him. But of course, you cannot discount Ryoga and what he's done at this point. And oh, Jesus!
Just sending Lance
And
across the way.
And how fitting is it that it's down to these 2 men? These 2 men that have basically had breakout years coming into the fold of Millennium, as well as their own teams respectively. And it's down to these 2 to decide who is going to walk into tomorrow night's Grand Slam for their team.
Oh, forearm!
The forearm
Absolutely.
right there onto Lance. And wait a minute.
Go for the Achilles.
Going for the
Achilles tendon lock
Going
here.
for the Achilles tendon lock, that Peach-on lock right there onto Lance. There's nowhere for Lance to turn.
Peach-on lock. Tap out!
Tap,
Lance tapped.
tapped, out. And I'm pretty sure Ranma is going to be sticking around for the celebrations, because right here and now, we now know who the Millennium Tag Team Champions of the Azure Knights are going to be defending it off against, ladies and gentlemen. And it's going to be Keith and Lance. And Keith and Lance will not be, unfortunately, going to that. But Dojo South Turbe's Ryoga and Ranma will be going to it tomorrow night. And how
An
fitting,
impressive victory.
how fitting would it be for Ranma, who made his mark this year, who basically became Millennium Champion earlier this year, to walk out of his biggest year yet with the gold. And I mean this is basically going to be leading into our next prediction of the night, ladies and gentlemen. It's going to set off our second half of the predictions here. But going off from that, now that we know who the Azure Knights are going to be defending it off against, I take it to you guys as to what we're going for next. Who do you think is going to be walking out with this? Because let's just break it down to brass tacks. The Azure Knights have basically had one of the biggest years on their night. Because when they broke away from Hacker Club last year, the Azure Knights, Orca, and Kite basically set a path out for themselves. And over the course of the past year, they dethroned the Mad Dragons and successfully defended against them in the rematch as well. And not only that, they also have managed to carve out a path for themselves in the tag team scene on Millennium, getting a big win at the Prestige Fest over the Q Rangers. So at this point, you need to be thinking to yourself, after what we just saw right here with that match, are we about to see the Azure Knights walk out with the tag team titles, or could not only Dojo Sao Tome walk out with the tag titles, but will Ranma Sao Tome become the first ever Triple Crown champion in ACL history? Because you gotta remember, he's a former crossover champion. He's now a former Millennium champion earlier this year. All he needs is a tag team title win, and he could easily become the first ever Triple Crown champion in company history. All he needs to do is just get that win tomorrow night, and he secures himself in the history books as ACL's first ever Triple Crown champion. So with all that in mind, I know at the moment that downtown Jason Brown did have to attend to some UWL business, and I know for a fact that at the moment we currently just have myself.
We're down to 3.
We are down to 3 in this scenario right here for this segment, but let's take it. Hey kid, who do you think's going to be walking out with the gold tomorrow night?
Azure Knights have been the tag team have been like the tag team what do you call it, constant this year, you know, in the ACL. But damn it, I'm on the Dojo Satome train.
Honestly, I kind of figured you were going to be picking them because of that fact. I'm not playing.
Ranma is a guy, when he says stuff, he does it. And whether people like it or not, this is a man who knows how to win. Sorry to say it, people, but it's true. Reality check. And I've got Ranma becoming the Triple Crown champion.
I mean, that could definitely be one of the biggest events tomorrow night.
He's become one of the more underappreciated company faces of ACL, in my opinion.
Definitely say that, and I would definitely agree that it could be the big night for Ranma. It could be his literal crowning achievement tomorrow night. But I'm going to you, Rick. Who do you think's going to be walking out with the belts tomorrow?
I have to go with Hitkid. I think the dojo's got this. I think Rama's going to become a Triple Crown champion. And I can see what the hype's about for these guys. They remind me of a team I have. They speak. When they say they're going to do something, they do it. And they succeed. They exceed expectations. And I think they got the titles in the bag. No disrespect to the current champions. They've been on a roll. But I think they've just hit a bump in the road with the dojo.
I'll admit, tomorrow night could definitely be the biggest match for the Azure Knights, and it could also be the big night for Dojo Sao Tome. So, in all honesty, as much as I feel like the Azure Knights have basically had a big year as Millennium Tag Team Champions and on the Millennium roster in general, I definitely do feel like now that we know who they're going up against, Dojo Sao Tome could walk out with the win. So, once again, this is one that I feel like we all agree on. Dojo Sao Tome could easily walk out with the tag team titles tomorrow night. But
So we got it's a clean sweep.
Another clean sweep for the night. But going from one tag team title match to another, it's yet again another tag team match. It's another one for the Millennium side, but it's for the Lioness Tag Team Championships. It's Team Ruby, the defending champions, Ruby Rose and Weiss Schnee, defending against the Determinants, Clementine, and Ellie Williams. Now, just a little bit of a context, Team Ruby has only just come back in terms of coming back into the fold of the Lioness division as a complete unit. Because over the past, few months, especially around about this time last year, the future of Team Ruby was definitely in question. Ruby Rose basically left for, close to 6 months after Final Hour and after the run they had in 2017 and 2018, a lot of the future of Team Ruby was definitely in question when their leader was out of the picture entirely. Yang Xiaolong basically won the Lioness title last year, and she took over the head position of Team Ruby. And part of that initiative was bringing Wei Shini into the fold, which in turn finally brought back Ruby Rose. And ever since then, the tag team titles have finally come back to Team Ruby when they beat the Sonozaki sisters at Path to Victory a few months ago, and they were the ones to finally bring the gold back, and in my opinion, you couldn't find an even more perfect fit than Ruby Rose and Wei Shini, because we all know the union that they share between each other, both inside and outside the ring. But, of course, you gotta go to the determinants as well. They are former Lioness Tag Team Champions in their own right. In their first CPV match, when they came into the brand, they won the titles from then champions Yukiko and Chie. And not only that, they basically set out on a path of destruction, taking on any comers, including arguably one of the most breakout tag teams in the ACL Lioness Tag Team division in the Arcadia Bay Ass Kickers. But albeit that was during a very interesting period in their time, but you cannot discount the determinants, and with how they managed to completely brutalize Team Ruby a few weeks ago, who's to say we could actually see two-time tag team champions here tonight. But I want to take this to you two. Out of these two teams, who do you think's walking out with the titles? Hit Kid, you go first.
Give me Team Ruby. I'm taking Ruby and Weiss, and let me explain why. The determinants may have got a one-up on Team Ruby, on Ruby and Weiss, but this is something which people need to remember. Let's remember, this time last year, Team Ruby was split. Weiss wasn't here. Yang and Blake were on the run, and Ruby had took a ball and gone home. When Ruby went on, let's be honest, the biggest ego trip I think we've ever seen. Because that's what it was. The thing is, if the determinants think they're going to out-trick Team Ruby in a sense, they're not. We have seen here in ACL Team Ruby pull off some of the most legendary swerves.
Yep.
I think of the one certain incident, you know, where like, originally it was Yang and Blake, if you remember, like, let's remember how they formed originally. It was Yang and Blake, you know, hunting the ACL, you know, Lioness tag titles.
Yep.
And then we thought Ruby Rose was, you know, and you remember how they were doing it. They were, you know, doing all the dirty tricks.
Yep. Their huge run of dominance in 2017.
Yeah, and we thought that, how do you put that? We both thought that, you know, the family, like, Team Ruby's gonna, like, we thought that, how do you put it? We thought Ruby was gonna stand up to them with how they were acting. But then, it turned out Ruby was behind it!
Yeah. She was pretty much the master manipulator of that entire run to begin with.
Yeah, it caused Team Ruby to go on a roll. So, because of that, I've got to go with Team Ruby. I don't think you can out-trick them.
Yeah. Going to you, Rick, who do you think's walking out with the belts?
Ooh. I mean, Hit Kid made some good points. But who's to say that Clem and Ellie don't have a trick up their sleeve as well? It could be possible they got something. But it's going to take a lot to trick Team Ruby. But if I have to pick a team, I have to say, given that they were able to get the jump on Team Ruby, I have to go with Clem and Ellie. I think they're going to end Team Ruby's reign as champions.
I mean, it's definitely split down the middle once again, but if I'm going to be the tiebreaker on this, while Team Ruby going off what we were talking about before with Blake Belladonna, I know your pick for Blake earlier tonight, I've Hit Kid, definitely could play into that. I definitely do feel as though Team Ruby could be walking out with the belts here tonight. But that is leaning slightly towards them because Ellie and Clem have never seemed any more dangerous than what they are doing right now, because they were pretty much going on blast on Team Ruby and more or less the entire Lioness Tag Team division when we last saw them. Especially Ellie. She was pretty much just going completely on blast on them. So I don't think we've ever seen these two any more dangerous than what we're going to see tomorrow night. Because they know for a fact that they need to pull out this win after the year that they've had, otherwise it's all for naught. So I feel as though that while it is going to be an arguable classic between these two teams, Weiss and Ruby are going to be walking out with the belts, and they're going to pretty much help Team Ruby keep a hold of those belts going into next season. But of course, going from one Lioness match to another, we've actually got a complete trio of Lioness matches for these next two matches. And going on to that, it's definitely one that is gonna be a bit more, is once again a personal encounter. It's Rena Ryugu versus the Sotozaki sisters in a handicap match. Now, the story behind this is simple. It's been the story of Yandere for the past year. And it was sort of a continuing story from what happened last year. Remember how last year, Hickid, you remember because you were there last year when we were at,
Oh, yeah.
when we were at California for the Grand Slam last year, when Rena Ryugu came out and she was completely...
She snapped!
She snapped.
That chick is loco!
Yeah.
She is loco, crazy.
Like, she had basically gone completely off the deep end. And it was all thanks to Satsuki Kiryuin after what happened last year. By the way, still have not seen or heard from Satsuki Kiryuin after what happened last year.
She almost had her throat ripped out!
Yeah, she nearly had her goddamn throat ripped out to the point where she had to be taken to the EMTs immediately following that match. Basically, following on from that, Rena completely snapped. And as it turns out, it seems as though that it wasn't herself that completely did the deed. It turns out that Yuno Gasai was a part of it. And alongside Yuno being a part of it, she also managed to pull out a bit of a swerve in her own right, because we thought the Sotozaki sisters had actually completely gone off the deep end with Rena when they won the tag team titles. As it turns out, Yuno basically just kidnapped the Sotozakis and replaced them with alternate versions of themselves from a different parallel universe where they became what we saw over the past few months. And the condition of the Sotozaki...
Man, don't take this wrong way. We've been dealing with way too much universes this year in virtual wrestling.
Dude, I feel like when Eddie Mack opened up the portal, he basically just completely screwed us all over in a sense, because god damn it. Like, that happened as soon as that whole scenario happened, so you can't tell me that Parallel Universe Eddie Mack had something to do, but again... It's because of that we got the Sotozaki Syndicate coming in and basically being the tag team champions for the last few months. And it wasn't until they lost the belts back at Path to Victory where we finally got the return of the real Sotozaki sisters. And the condition of their face-off at last month's Final Hour was that if they won against the Sotozaki Syndicate, they finally would get a chance to bring back Rena. And the thing is regarding this, it's once again another story like with Yukiko versus Chie. The Sotozakis are just trying to bring back their best friend. They're trying to basically calm her down. They're trying to bring her back. But it's once again another story of what's happening with Chie and Yukiko. Is it already too late for Rena? Has she completely, permanently gone off the deep end? Or do we feel as though that there is going to be a chance to bring back the real Rena Ryugu?
May I go?
Yep, go ahead, kid.
May I go? Because unlike Chie and Yukiko, I do think Yukiko needs to be humble, does you understand? And I think that's what's going to happen. Let me be dead clear. Rena's off the deep end. This is a whole different kettle of fish. Rena is off the deep end. She belongs in that certain category of other females, of other virtual wrestlers, you know, who have gone to the crazy side in a sense.
Yep.
You know, the categories of, you know, some of the worst in a sense. And I know it's the 2-on-1 advantage, which you have to consider for the Sotozaki sisters. That is a big deal. But the thing is about this is, even though it's a 2-on-1 advantage, I just think Rena doesn't go. Rena doesn't go if it's 2-on-1. She's a nutcase.
I mean...
She's a complete nutcase.
I mean, I would definitely have to agree with that, and it definitely does seem as though that we could possibly see the Sotozakis basically just basically fighting a losing battle and trying to bring back their best friend in a sense, but well, I'm gonna take it to you, Rick. What do you feel about this?
Whew. Oh my god. I think I gotta go with Hit Kid. She's. I mean, when it comes to Yukiko, there might be the slim chance that she can get her back, but Rena's she's off her rockers. I think the sisters are way in over their head. The two of them combined may just equal what Rena's become at this point. And I hope the best for them, but I think I have to go with Rena.
Okay, so that's definitely quite the interesting scenario regarding this. I know for a fact that Downtown Jason Brown has finally joined us back again. Jason, we're just getting
Welcome back.
we're just predicting Rena versus the Sorozaki sisters. Who do you brief rundown? Rena has completely gone off the deep end over the past year after last year's Grand Slam. The Sorozakis are trying to basically bring her back down and basically just trying to bring their real friend back. Who do you feel like is going to be winning out of this handicap match?
You know what? I think they can do it. I think they'll be able to bring her back.
I mean, I'm definitely gonna have to agree with you on that here tonight, Jason, because Rena, basically, we heard one last word from her a few weeks ago on the last edition of Millennium for the year, and the big thing about this is the fact that at the end of the day, it's basically been like Rena knows for a fact that she has felt some level of remorse, but the psycho part of herself, like the part of herself that is completely and utterly just being dominated by this other personality, is basically just taking its toll on her. So, who knows? That part of Rena may finally be able to come back out, and we might possibly be able to finally get this Rena Ryugu back. The Rena that we saw lead the Lioness division a few years ago before she completely lost it. There might finally be a chance to bring her back, but I do agree the Sorozakis are going to be in for a big match. Because win, lose, or draw, that's not the important thing. So long as they can bring that Rena back, that's the important thing for them.
Yeah, that's the most important thing to them right now.
Yep.
Absolutely.
And with that, we're down to the last 4 matches of the night, and, well, welcome back to the table, Gnarly. You've joined us at the right time. We're getting down to the last 4 matches of the night, and, well, let's just get down to it. These 4 matches are the Free World title matches and the big main event, the 4-on-4. So, let's get to it. Brace yourselves. The first match that we're going to be looking at is, Lioness Championship match. Defending champion, the Avatar Korra, defends against Sekai Daiichiban, Sakura Hagiwara. I feel like this needs no introduction as to what's been going on with Korra as of late. Anyone who's been following ACL and virtual wrestling for the women's leagues as of late would definitely agree. Regardless of your opinion on the subject, and I know we do have a lot of differing opinions at this table, and for the sake of it, we're not going to talk about a lot of that, because, Lord knows there's been a lot of that as of late, but we're going to keep this as professional as possible for this.
We'll save that for... Am I allowed to say we'll save that for the other show?
Yes, like, let's try and be objective as possible for this, like, personal feelings aside, and I'm looking at both of you when I say this tonight, Jason and Hitkid.
That's fair.
Personal feelings aside, and being objective about this, we have to look at the bare facts about what has gone on for both of these women here tonight. Korra has basically had a brilliant last few months. Like, ever since she lost the Lioness title last year, she has definitely not been a slouch. You cannot deny that. She went on immediately, it went on one of the biggest runs of her career, and it's still ongoing right now. 2018 was literally Year of the Avatar, and she has kept that momentum going into 2019. Becoming the, as of current, only 2-time Lioness champion in ACL history. Going on quite possibly one of the biggest runs of her career, and with help from the Lioness division's head, Mai Valentine, has organized one of the biggest endeavors for the belt, in a sense. And it started off at Path to Victory by defending it against Lightning of DCA and SCA, and she most recently, over the last few weeks, she recently beat Carmen Cortez at Queens of Wrestling 5, and just earlier this week, she managed to beat Captain Marvel at the UCWL ACL event, and because of that, she is going into this tonight with the biggest hot streak of her career, because that is 3 consecutive wins on some of the biggest wins of her career. Adding on to the fact that she's had matches against Akira Yukimura and managed to take her to the limit, and managed to win over legend in the business Wonder Woman at last year's Queens of Wrestling. End of the day, Cora has basically been on one of the biggest runs of her career, and all roads have led to Sekai Ichiban here tonight. Or rather tomorrow night, as it were, but considering everything that we're going into, gentlemen, we all know Sakura Hagiwara's resume at this point. CCL Bombshells champion, DCA Wildcats champion, one of the biggest breakout stars from 2017 onwards, and you cannot deny her pedigree. And at this point in time, Cora could be set up for one of the biggest matches of her career, bar none. So, gentlemen, let's get down to it. Gnarly, your pick first.
This is gonna, as you just said, for both of them, yeah. With that, but I can't go against Sakura Hagiwara. I just can't. I really can't. We all seen the big time matches Sakura's had. We've all been there. Cora better be ready. That's it. I'm going Sakura to win.
I mean, yeah, that's definitely 1 point for Sakura in this regard. So, as much again, I'm gonna say this right now here, kid. As objective,
I'm gonna be professional.
As professional and objectively as possible. Looking at the facts on both sides here. Who is your?
Can I say something?
Yes.
Please don't give me this a higher look.
I'm not gonna give you this a higher look, my dude.
That's all I'm gonna say. Okay, let me go into this. Feelings aside, Cora's had one of the best years in virtual wrestling this year. She would, in my opinion, considering, I don't know if we're making this official yet, because remember the year ain't fully closed by this date, what we're filming this on.
Yeah, it's
New Year's Eve when we are filming this, ladies and gentlemen. So happy New Year. But Cora would go in my top 10 this year, if you know, like female virtual wrestlers. And I mean that for the entire year, she'd go in my top 10.
Okay.
And with her win at Queens of Wrestling, she solidified a spot in that top 10, despite my opinions. But there's also a danger to that win. Because we know for a fact someone has remained, maybe in recovery after the war she's been through. So that's all I can really say on that.
Yeah.
But there is one thing about this match for Cora. This is an even bigger test than facing Carmen.
Yeah.
And let me explain why. Why is this an even bigger test than facing Carmen Cortez?
Because Sakura Hagiwara is the only person who's basically Sakura. Remember, she was the person that dethroned Carmen Cortez.
Not without a bit of controversy.
Yeah, but she
There
was
was
the
some
person.
controversy with that.
But she was the woman that dethroned Carmen Cortez in her first reign as Wildcats champion.
And if you've watched the Sakura match throughout, her career, people know never to doubt Sakura.
Exactly.
Never to doubt Sakura. And Cora's coming in with a lot of confidence. Let me be clear.
Yeah.
One thing she cannot be is overconfident. She needs to focus. She needs, in a sense, and I'm going to use a term here, a sport term, to play the perfect game. If she's going to beat Sakura. Do I think she can play that perfect game against Sakura? Yes. But do I think that Sakura can also adjust her game to play an even perfecter game? Yes. And for that reason, I'm taking Sakura in a nail biter.
All right. definitely a pretty interesting decision that we're looking at right now. But 2 for Sakura at this point. I'm taking it to Rick. Who do you got?
Honestly, after everything I've seen from Sakura Hagiwara, I mean, you've seen her work down in Nudon with all her matches she's been putting on. She's been winning against these big names. And Cora, despite how anyone here feels about her, like she said, she's had one hell of a year. It ain't every day that Carmen Cortez takes an L. But just by the landslide and the fact that we never know what to expect from that, because she pulls everything out of her metaphorical hat. Sakura.
All right. Jason, same rules as Hit Kid. As objectively as possible, taking everything else out of the equation, looking at the facts regarding this, Cora or Sakura? Who's walking out with the Lioness Gold?
Despite my feelings, and I will keep it professional and everything, I agree with Hit Kid on a lot of things with this match. It's going to be a nail biter. Sakura, one of the best in virtual wrestling. Cora, definitely, in consideration, probably for top 10, if not top 5. And like Hit Kid said, this is going to come down to the wire. Sakura, known for when it comes to getting the job done, she can take that extra step to get that win, but also Cora can do the same. And despite my feelings towards this woman, I will actually say Cora's going to come out with the victory.
All right. Interesting.
And I will leave it at that.
All right, that's fair enough. Interesting split that we have here at this point. I feel like there's no surprise when I say that I feel like Cora is going to be walking out with the win here tonight. And even though, obviously a lot of people are going to say it's because she's my girl and because she represents ACL and whatnot, again, I have to redirect you to everything that has happened ever since she lost the belt last year. The immense streak that she has gone on. Literally everything that has been happening in the past few months since she regained the belt. All roads have pretty much led to one of the biggest tests of her career, and she basically said it outright over the course of the last few months, over the course of the last month, ever since Final Hour in a sense. She has basically been wanting to really prove herself against one of who she deems to be one of the pillars of the industry. Because, let's be honest, Sakura Hagiwara represents one of the pillars of women's virtual wrestling. At this stage, she represents one of the upper echelon in a sense. And if Cora really wants to prove herself to be a part of that upper echelon, and not just say it and be boastful and a lot of people would say be egotistical about it, it's put up or shut up time, truly, for Cora here tomorrow night. She either walks into Madison Square Garden tomorrow night with the Lioness Championship and walks out with the Lioness Championship, or, plain and simple, she is going to basically show that despite every big win that she has had over the past year, she cannot pull it off. So basically, this is going to be the biggest test for Cora, not just as Lioness Champion, but as the status as one of the biggest stars in the industry right now. And honestly, I feel like Cora can do it, but most certainly, I feel like it's going to be a hard night for Cora.
And here's the thing, though. What happens if she wins? Where does she go next?
Exactly. She would have
cleaned out the division.
She would have done it all.
Not necessarily. Remember, 2 of the avatars still would continue after this, because, there are a lot of other people that she has named off in the past that she has wanted to put that up against. So I guess if she does beat Sakura, the sky's the limit at that point. But of course,
the saying "pride before fall," though.
Yeah. And
Here's my question, and I'm just asking this hypothetical, eh?
Yeah.
No matter what the result tomorrow, Where is Cora's pride gonna be after this? Will she let it overtake her in a victory? Or will she let it drop if it's a defeat? Like, there's just an interesting thought for the future, in my opinion.
I mean, that's definitely one way of putting it. But, we're gonna find out where Cora goes after tomorrow night, only after the bell has rung between these two. But of course, going off from that, we do in fact have two other big world title matches of the night. And I get the feeling this is one that's gonna be a bit of an interesting one, because for the Millennium Championship, it's current Millennium Champion Midoriya Izuku defending against the will of Gaia itself, Orochi. Orochi has basically been terrorizing Midoriya for the past month or so. He's terrorized himself in his personal life, he's terrorized him in the ring, and he's made his presence known, let's be honest. But one of the big things that really set this whole thing into motion, and the big thing that pretty much set everything into place as it is right now, all happened just at the tail end of November at Final Hour. Because I think we all remember what happened that night. All Might got completely destroyed and was taken so much damage from the Orochi clan that he was sent completely to civilian mode. Something that we've never seen happen in ACL since he was by Midoriya's side. Hell, that's only happened a few select times in All Might's entire career, both in this industry and as a hero in his own time. So, for that to happen, you have to wonder, is Midoriya really... There's going to be two things going on here. Is Midoriya's head really going to be on straight in this match, considering everything that is going on? Is what happened, like, last month really going to be playing a factor into that? And can he actually beat Orochi? Because remember, the amount of people that have managed to beat Orochi can be listed off on one hand. And we saw what it takes to beat Orochi a year ago, when Guts had to completely destroy Orochi in that last man standing match to dethrone him as world champion. You gotta think to yourself, is Midoriya even prepared to face off against Orochi? Not just mentally, but is he physically prepared for that? Because if he's not, as much as I love the kid, and as much as I will put my back behind him, I've got to wonder, is he ready to pull out as much as he can to bring out as much as to pull out the big win? For that answer, I take it to Nolly Charlie Anderson for the first prediction.
You pretty much said everything I was probably going to say, but at least I'll say this. Deku does not get his head focused straight against Orochi. I'm going to say this. We're going to have a new Millennium Champion. I'm going with Orochi.
Alright, one pick for Orochi, not really surprised by that in all honesty, but taking it to you, Hit Kid, Midoriya or Orochi?
I like Deku. I will always respect Deku. And he is heart and soul is Deku, if you understand.
Yeah.
Guy is he is heart and soul, end of story. And he will fight to the bitter end. Problem is, this will be his bitter end. Orochi's a monster.
Yep.
Even more dangerous now. It seems.
Yep.
The Pharaoh's there.
We thought he was dangerous, last year. When he went on a tour. But this year? Yeah, I'm sorry, guys. I've got to say it.
Orochi?
Orochi's winning this match.
2 for Orochi then. Rick, who you got?
I know a lot of people are, doubting in Midoriya. They're saying Orochi's too much. But that's the weakness that a lot of opponents have had when facing Deku. They've always underestimated him. They've always thought, can't do kid. As somebody who has Deku on his roster, who's seen the kid in action, who knows the kid will not die. The kid will go to the limit. And honestly, I think deep down, that heart and soul of Deku, everything, he's going to use everything Orochi has done to him as fuel to take it to the beast. And if you ask me, that one hand that you can count how many people have beat Orochi on, you better start raising another finger, because I believe Midoriya will walk out still Millennium Champion. He has worked too hard to lose the title this way. And I don't think he will allow that to happen.
Alright, so that's two for Orochi, but I think we might possibly have another one for Midoriya in a sense, because I know Downtown Jason Brown, you've called some matches with Midoriya over in UWL. So so given that and given who he's facing off against, who have you got in this match?
I got Deku. Now here's the thing, I know how much of a monster his opponent is, how dangerous he is. But here's the thing, Deku, he's that kid who knows. He's not like any other kid out there. He's not a kid in there. He's a man now, and he is the man of carrying that world title around now. He worked so hard. He fought tooth and nail to finally become a world champion, and he did that. And yeah, his opponent, a heartless, ruthless monster. But here's the thing, Deku is a kid that knows how to get it done. He will reach down to the bottom of his heart, and he will pull out the something. It might be the biggest, Detroit smash we've ever seen. It might be a something smash, world smash, something. He's going to knock the ever-loving fuck out of that monster, and he's going to retain.
And now, if I can add on something real quick, Deku does his homework.
Mm-hmm.
He knows, he studies his opponents.
That's the thing.
That's
People
right.
seem to forget he studies his opponents. He writes it down in his little journal and everything. He plans out every single scenario. This kid, like I said, he's not like any other wrestler we've ever seen. He always comes in with a plan. He comes with a backup plan. He has a backup for the backup. He has a backup for the backup for the backup.
He's prepared.
He's always prepared.
Always, for any and everything. And that is why we believe in unison. Because we know Deku. This kid's got to get it done. He's going to get it done.
And I feel like I have to agree with both of you. And I feel like it's going to be like, I will admit, Gnarly and Hit Kid do have a lot of good points in terms of Orochi, because I've called his matches ever since he came into this league, nearly 5 years ago. But I've never seen Orochi, and this is the thing, every time we've seen Orochi, he becomes more dangerous. He was dangerous last year when he formed the Orochi clan alongside Rugal and Chris. And he became more dangerous with the Orochi clan when they brought back Geese Howard in the middle of this year as the Nightmare.
No.
But this
That's
is
scary.
where I have to personally feel like Midoriya has come a long way as well. Because remember, Midoriya came in at the top as the biggest signee on ACL's second season. From there, he has only gone up. Like, he's definitely had some low points here and there, but you cannot say that the kid does not have heart, he doesn't have soul, and he does not have anything more than what we have seen over the past few years. And I feel like this is your typical David versus Goliath story. And I mean this with complete and all honesty. This could be where Midoriya finally manages to prove not only is he ready for the big time, not only is he ready to fully represent Ace, the Millennium division, the Millennium roster as the ace of that roster, but I feel like with everything that has been said and what we've seen from Midoriya over the past few years, this could be where he finally gets his chance to finally just show the world what he is truly made of. So yeah, I feel like Midoriya is going to be walking out with the Millennium title tomorrow night. It'll be a hard battle for Midoriya. It'll possibly be the hardest battle that he's faced in his life.
And here's the thing. If he comes out with the victory, without a shadow of a doubt, this kid's the ace.
Yeah.
Absolutely. He's the big deal. He's the next big thing.
Yeah. Not just in ACL, but we could be looking at Midoriya Izuku as the next big thing in virtual wrestling tomorrow night. And I say that with complete honesty.
Absolutely.
But of course, that's not our last world title match, ladies and gentlemen. We do have a highly anticipated rematch. It is 3 years in the making for these two men. And the last time that these two faced off one-on-one, it was 3 years ago at our first Grand Slam in Las Vegas, Nevada. But ever since then, these two have been on divergent paths. But all roads lead to each other eventually. Tsukasa versus Rito Kimura for the ACL World Championship. Rito Kimura won the Path to Victory match, punched his ticket directly, and he knew immediately as soon as he won that match who he was going to be facing. It was no question. He was going to be facing the man that dethroned Spike Spiegel. A man who has been here since the very beginning of this company. A man who is the first ever crossover champion in ACL history. A man who has come from being a loner to bringing out one of the most tightly knit groups in ACL history and Hacker Club, breaking away from it, and then finally redeeming himself in the eyes of the fans by bringing an end to Spike Spiegel's reign as world champion. And tomorrow night, he finally faces off against the one thing he feels regret over, Rino Kimura. And tomorrow night, these two men will finally get to figure out who is truly the better man. Because you remember, every other encounter that these two men have had, it's always been under dubious circumstances. Tomorrow night, however, it's a straight-up one-on-one encounter, no stipulations, nothing but the world title and each other's pride on the line. Tomorrow night, we finally figure out who out of these two men is truly the better man and the man to lead ACL's premier brand into the future. Whatever that future may be. Ladies and gentlemen, taking it to Gnarly for the first prediction.
Yeah, as you used to. It's a picture before. A lot of different circumstances, like you said. But it's different than we are now. I'm gonna say this. I'm going with Ren to walk out as the ACL World Champion.
Alright. That's one for Ren going out with the world title. Hit Kid, who have you got?
Time to split it.
Yeah.
Here we go.
Because I'm taking Tsukasa. I just think of the rise of Tsukasa this year. From being the Hacker Club leader, to dissolving the group. A tight-knit group, like a brotherhood, you would say.
Yeah.
Like, we talk about, and I'm trying not to bring up things here, but, when you look at virtual wrestling these days, you see a lot of tight, brotherhoods, families, in a sense.
Yep.
Family-oriented groups. Tsukasa stepped away from that. To, the all parties, on amicable terms. And they all still consider each other brothers. By stepping away from that, Tsukasa was able to find himself again. Find himself as the phenomenal wave master. I want to be clear, Rin is a great opponent. Rin's one of the best in the business. But for Tsukasa, this is the payoff. He needs to beat this guy. And I think he does at All Star Grand Slam.
Alright, one for Tsukasa, one for Rin. Rick, who you got?
Well, like Kid said, Rin's done a lot. Well, he had to step away from a brotherhood to get where he is now.
Yeah, and I mixed up my dude. That was Tsukasa.
Oh, that was Tsukasa. Oh, but that was my bad. My bad. It's the names. Anyway, But you get what I'm saying.
Yes.
But Rin was the one who won your equivalent to the Rumble, correct? Please tell me I'm right.
Yes, it is.
Okay, thank God. That was my bad. I apologize for that. But nevertheless, he came through hell to win that. I mean, Rumbles are no easy thing to win. It's about endurance. No matter what number you come out from.
Yeah.
I think it's Rin's time. I think this is his moment.
Alright, so that's 2 for Rin, 1 for Tsukasa. Jason?
No, I will have to agree with Frick. I'm going with Ren on this. When we finally saw, the downfall of Spike's, world title reign. I think a lot of people were just. It was like this huge thing just lifted off of ACL for at least for that moment. Where that bastard was no longer the world champion.
Yep.
But I think though that Ren has fought so hard to get to this point. We're going to see one hell of a match. Shadow of a doubt. Yeah, an instant classic. This might be a world title match, but I think when considered all the big world title matches we have, the Lioness, the Millennium, I think a lot of people are sleeping on this match. And I think that this one right here is going to blow everyone out of the water. And I think just by the skin of his teeth, Ren's walking out the new world champ.
All right. I'll be honest. Like 3 people going for Rin basically does seem like the way to go. I mean, the odds are definitely in Rin's favor to win the match because 100% of the people that have won the Path to Victory match go on to win that match. So the odds are definitely in Rin's favor to go into there and for Tsukasa to basically walk out without the belt. But I'll be completely honest, I'm agreeing with HitKit on this. Because, end of the night, Tsukasa has been on a path of redemption like nothing else. And he's been on the run of his career for the past year. Ever since he won the belt at the 4th year anniversary show, ending Spike's reign, he's basically gone completely just asserting himself as the face of Prime. And I feel like going back, he's basically proven himself against the likes of Ken Shinomura, defending it against Spike Spiegel, and he's basically made it so to the point wherein he basically has one more regret in his sense, because he basically put it bluntly in that interview. When that interview that happened between both men on that of just a few primes ago, he basically made it clear. Rin is his only regret. Because he knows that he knew for a fact that what happened 3 years ago was basically out of blind anger. It was basically out of blind anger, jealousy, and not of a sound mind. So he feels like he has to not only redeem himself in the eyes of the fans when it comes to Rin, he has to redeem himself in the eyes of Rin. And the only way he's going to be able to do that is by beating Ren Okamura. And I feel like, despite Rin's rise over the past few years, and despite Tsukasa coming into his own, finally coming back into his own right, just coming back as to his true self, I feel like Tsukasa will pull out the big win, finally get this monkey off his back, and finally be able to say that he will walk out world champion still. But of course, there's still one more match we have to talk about, and for better or for worse, it's the main event of the evening. It's the fatal. It's the big one, ladies and gentlemen. For all intents and purposes, whether we want to deem it as even if we want to deem any other match as the main event, for all intents and purposes, this is the main event of the evening. It's Spiral, Spike Spiegel, Vasha Stampede, Black Star, and Vamp taking on Team ACL, Rock Howard, Squall Leonhardt, Guts, and Kenshin Himura. And the big thing about this match, the stipulations, the stakes. If Spiral wins, they get Seto Kaiba's shares in ACL. But if Team ACL wins, Spiral is exiled from all of Virtual Wrestling. Not just from ACL, but they will be exiled from Virtual Wrestling as a whole. So that means Spike Spiegel, Vash, Black Star, The Prodigies, and Vash, and Vamp I should say, sorry, they will all be exiled and ousted from ACL permanently. So this is a big match. For all intents and purposes, this is make or break for Spiral, considering where they've come from the past year, and especially given everything that has happened with Spike Spiegel since he returned last year. Because this is more or less basically... This is it for Spiral. It's make or break for them.
It's his last stand.
It's basically the last chance salute for Spiral in a sense. They basically put all of their chips on the line and they get the jackpot, or they basically are busted out in a sense. Permanently. Like, there's no coming back for this. There's no fallback solution to go back on. It's just, you either walk out with everything that you've done over the past year and you get your victory, or you come out with nothing. But for Team ACL as well, you have to imagine, the team that Seto Kaiba has put together has got to be four of the biggest names in this company. You have Rock Howard, Squall Leonhardt, Kenshin Himura, and Guts. All former world champions. All four are the most recognizable names in this company, and even in all of Virtual Wrestling as we know it. And all four men have had some kind of vendetta against Spiral in one way or another. So tomorrow night, even though I get the feeling we all know who we're going to be picking at, let's take it. Gnarly, who you got?
Everything you just said it best. Everything's on the line for this. But the one thing we all know.
Yep.
Obviously, I'm picking Team ACL, but the one point I'm going to have to bring up.
Yep.
Team ACL better be careful, because we all know Spike probably has something. Back. Something. We all know it.
I mean, they've pulled it out over the past year or so. Hell, nearly 2 years if they manage to survive up until next year. But you're right, Gnarly. They've pulled out, like, something at the end of the night.
That's a scary problem that I think Team ACL has to avoid.
And that's what worries me the most about this. Do they already have a plan in motion? With that thought, Hit Kid?
I'll make it clear. Why else would they accept the match if they didn't already have a plan in motion? Why else would... I get that Spike has goaded Seto Kaiba into this. Am I allowed to say that? I mean, the brutal beatdown of Kaiba's brother said it all, didn't it? Shows the lengths these... Go ahead.
He basically blackmailed Seto Kaiba into this match by basically putting his little baby brother Mokuba's life in jeopardy.
Yeah.
And he's still... Mokuba Kaiba is still in the hospital right now.
Yeah, because he still did it. Because the sick son of a bitch still did it. And yeah, I'm sorry if I'm going to curse a little bit right now, but let me. Space Spiegel's a complete and utter fucking scumbag. He's a scumbag. He's a virus. And let's be honest, Spiral is like a sickness to ACL.
Not just a sickness to ACL, but all of Virtual Wrestling as we know it.
Yeah, quite literally, yeah. All Virtual Wrestling hates Spike Spiegel. He is he might be the most detestable man in all Virtual Wrestling. No lie. But here's the thing. Why would he make this power play now with Seto Kaiba? Why?
Yeah.
Like I said.
I'm a bit clear. Because I know I'm going to get some looks for this.
Yeah.
In my heart, I want Team ACL to win. But that evil cunt has got something planned. You just know it. And on this occasion, I can't let my heart rule my head.
You've got.
I'm sorry, I'm disgusted I'm even making this pick, but I'm picking Spiral.
Rick,
I'm sorry, I'm disgusted with myself, but I can't.
Rick, your
It's just
thoughts?
too big.
Your thoughts?
And like,
Oh boy. So first of all, I have to ask: if Spiral lose, but the Prodigy retain the tag team titles, what would that be the fate of the tag team titles should Spiral?
They would basically be
tomorrow.
vacated immediately.
As I should have figured. I mean, there's good points on both ends here. You know, Hit Kid's correct in the sense that Spiral have to have some kind of plan, but who's to say that Team ACL doesn't have a plan either, just in case, a counter attack. They have to know by now that that's how Spike Spiegel plays. That little conniving bastard, that's how he plays. To put it straight, he's a bastard.
Yeah.
That's how it is. But I believe that even through all the trickery that Spiral can muster, I think by now Team ACL has to know every trick in the book, and they have to have some kind of game plan, a backup plan in case something does go amiss. So I'm gonna put all my faith. I'm gonna put all the chips on the table. They're going to exile Spiral from the company. Spiral is gone. That's my prediction.
Alright, a little bit of hope there, Rick. Going to Jason on this then.
You know, without a shadow of a doubt, this is probably one of the biggest matches in ACL history. Now, let's just call it straight how it is. Because you pretty much got this madman in Spike Spiegel. If he wins, that means he has partial control of ACL.
Yeah.
That is terrifying to think of.
It's horrible. It's horrible.
Because you just don't know what kind of hell he's going to bring towards everyone. And I'm not just talking about, wrestlers and everything. I'm talking about, production teams, the woman who does all the costumes. You, Brad.
Yeah. Like, I would have to call, Spike Spiegel my boss. And that's a fucking fair... And that's a scary thing. That's a scary thing to think about.
Yeah. Yeah, that's extremely terrifying. And Hit's right. There's a reason why he accepted this match. Is because he has a game plan. But at the same time, look at Team ACO. You have four former world champions going in there. This is not just a match. This is a fucking war. This is a war. And you have four world champions who they're not going in as just typical men. They're going in as battle-worn warriors, and they will give Spiral the fucking beating that they have all deserved for so fucking long. And on that day, and on tomorrow, we will see the last of Spiral. We will see the last of Spike and ACO.
I'm gonna make it short and sweet because everyone pretty much knows my feelings on it as a company man. I want these bastards out. I want every single one of them out of this company. And after what has been happening over the past year, I do not want to see Spike Spiegel in this company anymore. And I do not want anyone associated with him to even be here anymore. Because it's like everyone has said, Spike Spiegel was a cancer to not just ACL, but all of virtual wrestling as we know it. And Team ACL is going to be the chemotherapy. So we can finally heal from this. Team ACL for the win, and I feel like there's no real things to really be said about that, but Nolly, you have a bit of a look on your face.
Yeah, keep getting this. Like the other one said, maybe so better have a plan, but then again, if they do, what do you think Spiker has another plan secretly in place that we don't even know about? That could play a huge factor too.
They might be
That's the
prepared
problem.
for the long haul, and if that is the case, what really...
Basically, this is...
But here's the thing.
This is all or nothing.
Spike, he has a plan for probably every scenario. but I think deep down, so this team's ACL.
Exactly.
Let's hope.
Like I said, this is not a match. This is a war.
Basically.
It's,
I'm begging
Everything
this.
But going off of that, ladies and gentlemen, that pretty much rounds out the entire card for the Grand Slam tomorrow night. But we are certainly not done here tonight at 0 hour. Coming up next, we do still have our pre-show main event, and it's the SRW versus ACL preview match. Stay tuned, ladies and gentlemen, after this commercial break as we get set for Satellizer versus Yang Xiaolong after this quick commercial break. We'll be right back. And we are back here tonight at New York City's Madison Square Garden as we get set for your pre-show main event here tonight, ladies and gentlemen. It is Yang Xiaolong versus Satellizer, and it is the SRW versus ACL preview match for tomorrow night.
Toasty.
Yes. For those who don't know, this was made in conjunction between ACL's Lioness Division and the Scarlet Row Wrestling team. This is basically a preview for their match This is basically a preview for what's to come in our off-season period, as ACL and SRW is going to basically have a huge crossover event happen between these two companies. And as we're going to see right here tonight, it's a bit of a preview match as Yang Xiaolong of Team Ruby takes on Satellizer right here tonight.
Oh boy.
Oh, this is going to be a physical war.
This is definitely going to be a
That's
physical...
because we know that... Oh, go on.
But going off from this, ladies and gentlemen, for those that, there were a few choice words between Satellizer and Yang, and Yang basically said it best. She has basically faced off against death for the last few years. And while Satellizer L. Bridget may call herself death, Yang has stared death right in the face over the past few years, and she is certainly not afraid of death anymore.
Yeah, these two have been have got heat in a sense, and speaking of Death herself.
Yeah, this one is still scary.
Death incarnate herself, as I like to call her.
This one is still scary.
Satellizer L. Bridget in the building.
Representing Scarlet Row Wrestling, it is Satellizer L. Bridget.
This one is, terrifying.
Yeah.
Terrifying is one way of saying it.
I'm saying the nicest way.
But we should all be truthful here.
Yeah.
This is the preview of what we've got upcoming, you know. How do you put it? This is just a preview.
This is a preview of what to expect in later on next month between both ACL and SRW when they pretty much get together.
That is true.
Yeah.
for it will be a chaotic night, ladies and gentlemen. Believe that from me.
It is definitely going to be a
Yeah, I
chaotic
can agree
night.
on that.
It's going to be a chaotic night, but it's definitely going to set the tone for basically our off-season period, because this is the first year wherein we're actually making content alongside in our off-season period. So no matter what happens tomorrow night, you will expect a lot of content going on throughout our off-season period from January onwards. But here we go, ladies and gentlemen. This is your pre-show main event. Yang Xiaolong of ACL taking on Satellizer L. Bridget of Scarlet Row Wrestling. Let's get it on.
Yang already talking trash.
Already taunting Satellizer, and Satelliser's just staring her down.
That's the one thing you probably shouldn't do.
Oh,
You might regret it.
I mean, well, it sort of looks like they're trading blows between each other at this point.
Oh, that's a fair point, yeah.
I mean, you want to talk? We've talked about big girl hoss fights in the past. I mean, we could be seeing another one right here tonight.
That we could.
Sure, I'm going to say this, be truthful here, if possible. Can the build be able to contain this?
I mean,
We're gonna find out.
if it's not able to,
Let's hope.
If it's not able to contain it, we have 24 hours to get ready for tomorrow night, so we can at least like repair the damage.
Yeah.
But no
Think
one
about-
needs to.
Think about Saturday.
Continue.
Yang has got to afford that cold vibration super kick and also, you know, the Tempest turn.
Yeah,
Right. As soon as Sunlizer hits that, one of those.
it could
It'd
be
be
like
over.
that. I mean, that's not to discount Yang Xiaolong's Ember Cecilia and the Xiaolong Bomber. Remember, it was that Xiaolong Bomber that completely knocked Chie Satanaka off her feet last year.
Oh!
Yeah, it's almost about that.
Well, that wasn't on
She
purpose.
didn't
Well,
knock
that
off
wasn't
her
meant to
feet.
be foreboding, but it may as well be, I suppose. And I mean, like, you've got to remember, last year's Grand Slam, Yang basically knocked Chie's head clean off within 5 minutes.
Yeah.
So
Not
like,
wrong.
this is not me putting it behind blind brand loyalty here. This is me just stating facts about the situation. Yang Xiaolong hits hard and she hits quick.
Yang can KO you with one shot.
I mean,
Yeah.
Yes, you can.
I mean, Ember Cecilia has knocked out so many women in the past few years, it's not even funny. Like, a lot of people do discount Yang Xiaolong as just somebody who's cocky and somebody who's very much, able to who is sort of somebody who pretty much overinflates herself quite a bit, and I definitely will agree with that. But never discount the fact that she is a hard-hitting bitch.
Whoa!
Oh, agreed.
Just like that.
They strong one at that.
You underestimate Yang at your own peril.
Basically. And once again, pulling out feats of strength like that. That right there is feats of strength that should not be underestimated. And it goes back to what Yang was saying like a few weeks ago. She has stared death right in the face so many times.
Oh,
Oof.
Gutbuster.
She's stared death in the face so many times over the past few years, it's hard to tell if when she said, "I don't fear death," if she said that in a way that she doesn't fear Satellizer, or if she just doesn't fear the idea of death anymore.
We'll have to see and find out, right?
Exactly. This could once again be one of those moments where
Uppercut.
Whoa.
Oh!
Jesus Christ!
Was that a string about, right?
Yep.
We gotta kick out the string with Satellizer!
Yeah,
Once
there was
again.
Yang again. Yang is being sent flying.
Another one of those. God damn it, another.
Drop down, Gutbuster.
Oof. Oof.
Ow.
Satellizer. It's scary. It's scary.
Really? Really? I didn't know that.
Oh,
Look at this.
I'm pulling out those.
Oh, look at Yang.
throwing hands.
Goddamn.
Throwing those hands.
Throwing hands all over the goddamn place.
And Yang is getting fired up.
fired up. Well, she is. That's where the nickname Firecracker partially comes from. Fiery personality. And off! Right hand skate!
Now look at this! Tee it off! Tee it off with punches!
Rapid fire left hands, I should say. Sorry about that. Right there to the head of Satellizer.
Knee? No.
Knee hits the corner right there. And once again, just going.
Oh, Satellizer there with the strikes.
Satellizer with those
Loading!
Satellizer with those strikes in the corner.
Oh my god, look at this! Choking her!
Choked her right into that corner.
Santon!
Santon right into that corner.
Now what is she thinking here? No!
Oof.
Ah, the knees were up. The knees were up, and now look at this!
Oh,
Buster!
Spine on the pine!
Hard-hitting spine buster right there. Right there. And she managed, like, this is another thing. This is one of those things wherein you just kind of need to really assess the situation right here.
Lariato!
And like, here's the truth, and like, this ain't showing any bias or anything. This has become a bitter war between both these sets of rosters.
I mean, yeah.
Alright. Whoa!
And I mean, as much as I am a company man, I have to be impartial about this situation. It has definitely gotten pretty brutal over the past month alone.
Yeah, this is a war which, like, you only get a small taste tonight, but come Heroes Paradise 2,
Yeah. It is most certainly.
this is gonna be chaos.
Like we talked about the main event tomorrow night being a war. We're most likely going to see yet another war take place just within the same month. And the Lioness division will basically need to be prepared for anything whenever it happens and January rolls around.
You could say Satellizer here tonight is on enemy territory, which I think, which we would all agree, wouldn't we?
In a way, yes.
That Satellizer here tonight is on enemy territory because she's here, you know, for the ACL pre-show.
Yeah.
But then
She
again,
is.
Would it be fair to say that it'll be a kind, like, even though we think it'll be maybe a split crowd, Heroes Paradise could be like ACL stepping into enemy territory when it comes to SRW. God, what a brute!
I mean, it's hard to tell at this point. It's hard to really tell considering the fact that, well, they're stepping into the Mercedes-Benz Superdome on that evening, and, well, it's kind of hard to tell really what to expect, I suppose. But I do agree. While Satellizer may be on enemy territory right here tonight, who knows what's going to happen later on next month.
indeed.
Into the barricade!
And they're taking it to the outside.
And back into it!
Were you expecting not left these two to stay in the ring for long?
Nope. And it's getting vicious.
Exactly.
It's getting vicious.
Ooh!
And oh boy,
Oh no.
Satelliser's got something dangerous with it. No!
Yang rolls through, but you can't pin her on the outside.
It's not a false count anywhere match. Yeah, you kind of made the wrong call in that regard, but brilliant way of being able to get out of that powerbomb like that. And Yang bringing it right
saved
back.
her.
It more or less saved her in that match, in this match, and like, wait a minute!
What is that? Oh, what a powerbomb!
Sit down powerbomb right there by Yang, right onto Satellizer. And calling for more. Yang calling up for Satellizer. No! Missed the target, and wait a minute.
Oh! A pop-up powerbomb!
Pop-up
Big,
powerbomb.
beautiful hit.
Beautifully hit it just like that. Once again,
Right hand.
Once again, another huge feat of strength right there by Yang onto Satellizer. And Satellizer,
Drop kick!
drop kick, setting her right to the outside.
Look at this Stabilizer.
So I was just gonna line her up here.
Oh!
went for the clothesline, didn't land it.
Lariat denied.
Is there any real difference between a lariat and a clothesline?
We're raising way too many important questions right now, Rick. We gotta focus on the match. Besides, if we wanted to get into the technicals of like wrestling maneuvers, like we would be here for centuries.
We'll probably be here for the next.
I mean, we could then go into different debates.
years.
We could then go into debates about if suplex is pronounced suplex or souffle.
I know, so let's not do
I
that.
think let's not
That
go
sounds like a
that.
wrestling
We're here to call a show, John.
Oh, there's an
Not
enemy.
We've already done our debating for this evening.
We've already done the analyst part of our jobs for this evening. Let's just get to calling it as it is. And right now,
Yeah, Yang around the... What the hell is Yang saying up here?
Electric.
Oh, nice boss!
I think it's now a
Have you
case
been-
of anything you can do, I can do better in terms of feet of strikes.
These two are out.
That would have been like a. That would have been like a St. Clair.
Yeah, if that was any nearer the ropes, I would have not liked to have seen that.
Whoa!
And
Whoa!
Oh,
Slingshot in with a back elbow.
shot it with the strength. And
Oh my
oh
god!
my god!
Jesus.
Lifting her up. She just uppercutted her just like that. Jesus Christ, Yang!
That is scary.
That's terrifying.
No, Empress Cecilia.
Oh, she went for the punch and it...
Empress Cecilia denied.
And the gut buster from Sunrise. It was just straight up denied. Sunrise said, get out of here with that shit.
Yeah, I got that.
And ref trying to make sure that Yang's okay after that.
Monahan, you poor son of a bitch for getting stuck in the middle of these two.
AJ Monahan gonna be refereeing the entire evening tomorrow night. I pity the poor man.
Oh!
Especially when it comes to that.
And wait.
Dang!
Oh, good.
Big shot forearm!
No, get to that no time.
Yang
Good Lord.
Yang going completely off the rails right now. Pulling out everything, including the goddamn kitchen sink for all it's worth, and
Yeah, I'm going to they're up.
going up top again.
Here we go! No!
Oh! Just what's it out of middle?
Order like that. And
Yeah, sound like
Oh,
oh no!
Jesus.
Leg trap choke slam.
Leg trap choke slam, one-handed her just like that, and oh no!
bye-bye.
Oh, giving her once again.
Oh! What?
Whoa, turn it.
Take it back.
Anything you can do, I can do better.
Gave Yang a taste of her own medicine, and now Satellite is eyeing her down in place. And wait a minute.
Oh, she went for
Super
good
kick.
vibrations.
She went for the vibration kick set. Wait.
Knee up.
Knee up
Up the ropes.
and wait a minute.
Oh! My God.
Right there.
Yang.
And where Macho Man elbow drop. No!
Now Stylizer.
Satellite
Wrapped up.
putting her up into that.
Oh, just roping her.
God, right on her back as well.
And now teeing up again for that super kick.
Setting it up again for that vibration kick. No!
No vibrations were felt. Not yet.
No.
Oh!
But she gets a back.
God.
She gets a backside suplex right for her troubles.
I was right in the back of the head.
It was.
I mean, this is getting much more vicious as this match goes along. I mean, you want to talk about getting a good taste of what to expect next month in Heroes Paradise? We're definitely seeing what these two can really pull out against each other, and sort of the dichotomy against like ACL and SRW right here tonight.
Oh! Jumping clothesline.
Jumping
It's
close.
so far proven to be one hell of a physical encounter between these two ladies.
I mean, would you expect anything less from
No,
Meg?
which is actually what you... No, that is fair. This is exactly what this was on paper, you would say.
Yeah. Like, when everyone
Yang
saw
here?
Yang Xiaolong versus Satellizer get announced, you knew for a fact it was going to be a vicious encounter. It was going to be a test of strength, a test of wills, and a test of and basically a show of everything in between.
Absolutely. And now Yang, punch to the head. Another punch. Going behind, no.
And I mean, Yang definitely pulling out a pretty good, solid effort. I mean, considering the fact that she did lose to Bindi Irwin last night at the ACL UCWL Super Show. And
Yeah,
That is true.
That's right. And let's remember, this match is a preview for one of the Heroes Paradise matchups.
Yang Shalom fucking
We'll get to that point in a minute.
She flew.
Yang Shalom with a suicide dive over
Now
the top
Hickey,
rope.
now Hickey, what gets your point out?
Yeah, it's a preview of one of the feature matchups at, at Heroes Paradise 2.
Oh, yeah.
It'll be the better Roses, Julia and Jasmine Cortez, along with Sarah Israel Budget and Tia Schultz. One winner who really stood up, for SRW in a sense. Oh, Yang said it's Sarah Israel to the crowd.
Yeah, they'll be taking on all 4 members of Team Ruby in an 8-woman tag match.
Yeah.
Right.
So we could very well be seeing a complete preview of what to expect in that 4-on-4 match at Heroes Paradise right here tonight. But as well as that, Yang sort of has to is still definitely pulling out a pretty good encounter right here tonight.
Oh, Yang got caught.
Oh, no.
Got caught and
Hey!
Who did you said that?
yeah, but
Spine Buster!
Spine Buster. And she is still
I'll tell
pulling
her,
out a
stay
dead
down.
pulling out a dead good match, even though she came up short
Oh
against
my
Bindi
God, look
Irwin
at
last
this.
night. And
Heartbreaker.
This.
Hold on.
oh no, going back again. Oh!
Get that breaker.
I don't know what else do we say.
And
Oh no!
She could. What? She
Go
could.
for Meteor
she
to the
can-
outside.
God.
Enter the triple, guys.
You think?
Wait
Uh-oh.
a minute.
It's not gonna be.
Oh my God.
Jesus.
Which powerbomb? Uh-oh, Sunrise is snapped.
And oh God.
Yeah.
Oh God.
Pissed off Starlizer is not a good idea.
A multi-language table based. God, I'm happy we're at the war room right now, because Jesus Christ.
Calls on.
I'm not getting in the middle of this.
Yeah.
To 7,
Yang.
Yang gonna break the count.
Yeah, not wanting to break the count, and Yang is basically giving Satellizer basically returning the favor in that regard. And
Let's see.
Vibrations!
she finally,
jaw!
she just hit
She
it.
hit that.
She finally managed to hit that. Jesus H Christ! And
And Yang is still moving.
Yang
Yeah.
took it!
Yang took it on the chin, and she's still fucking moving. And oh no, they say
God, these two need to watch the cover up to a 7.
we're up to 7 right now, and they're still going at it. Wait a minute, Yang.
They are.
9.
I don't think they care anymore.
Wait a
I don't
minute.
think they care anymore. Yang girl, and
Oh,
oh my
I
God!
think the count has
Oh
happened.
my God! Oh God!
And that's it.
That
Yeah, this is not too personal.
yeah, that is definitely one way to end it off there. For all intents and
Yeah.
purposes, that was, I'm pretty sure, exactly what we were expecting from a match like that. Let's be honest.
I would
Yeah.
agree.
You have a fair point.
I mean, for one hell of a pre-show main event, that basically sort of gives us an indication about what we will expect later on next month. But I guess that really does set the tone for tomorrow night off pretty well here. Based off of that, ladies and gentlemen, based on that, it does set the tone for ACL coming into the next few months, and definitely does set us in, sort of ends us off for 2019. But definitely do not that we are definitely not done for this season, ladies and gentlemen. Tomorrow night, they're still just trying to clear up everything after that. But from all of us here tonight, for Downtown Jason Brown, for Big Rick, for Gnarly Charlie Anderson, for Hit Kid Worldwide, and especially for myself here in the War Room, we will see you all tomorrow night on New Year's Day, right here in Madison Square Garden tomorrow night, for the biggest event in ACL history and the end of our season. We will see you all tomorrow night for the All Star Grand Slam 4. We will see you tomorrow night, and you all have a merry and safe new year. Peace.